Heyo. Welcome to Benchwarmers, a WOSO podcast, episode 7. We are running through this season very quickly. We are going to work backwards as we did last week. We got another bout of Champions League games. We are recording this on a Thursday night, so this is the first day of games. Chelsea, first win of their Champions League campaign.
And a really convincing win, I thought. I think that it really showed what happens when your players kind of click into form. The system is working against a Paris FC team that I don't think were very prepared for this Chelsea
Definitely
team.
not. I feel like Clara Matteo requires a level of separation from her opposition that allows her to succeed, get those really nice, nifty goals that she can get, and Millie Bright gave her absolutely no space. Bjorn did a fantastic job on her from distance and intercepting, recovering the ball.
I think this is Millie Bright's best game.
By a mile. Yeah. I think she's really... I'm kind of scared of what she's capable of at the back end of the season when she starts playing at the level we know her to be.
And no international games for her either, so she'll have more rest.
Exactly right. And, I mean, it was just a barrage. They smacked them for 25, 26 minutes at the start of the game. Alyssa Thompson is a big talking point in this game, mainly because we memed her for 6 episodes, rightfully so.
And it would be half of this episode as well.
Exactly. Alyssa Bond did exist for a day, for 3 days. It was a great 3 days. But her ability on the ball needs to be recognised. Her ability to skip past players is incredibly impressive. When she moves centrally, I don't think she gets the same separation.
I agree. I think that she has real luxury having that byline next to her. I think that when she hugs the touchline, there creates naturally a lot of space in behind that she can exploit. Yeah. Right? And she's a fast player. So I'm not really looking for Alyssa Thompson to be able to do 10,000 step overs and make a killer pass into whoever's in the 9. What I'm looking for is that final third product. Is she box crashing if it's on the other side? Because
territory gaining.
I'm looking at when off the ball. Because I think a lot of people are looking at her on the ball. I'm looking at her off the ball movements. I think they're just lackluster, exactly.
100%. And it's hard because the potential is obviously seen. Yeah. It's a player who you can build the central parts of your game later on. Stick to your strengths on the byline because that's what worked.
She's not a revolutionary player. There have been hundreds of teams in the past that have built their games around fast wingers. I just think that technical gap that she has and still that immaturity off the ball, I think Sonia will probably coach that into her. I think she's very eager to do that. She's playing her more for that reason, I think.
She's such a physicality merchant. It's crazy. Yeah. Sonia, she loves just coaching the ability for players to easily skip past players. So it's not combinations anymore. It's just 2-step, 3-step acceleration movements. And what happened in this game was, sadly, a penalty basically opens the floodgates in this game. Nuskan really just flops over, and I can see the contact. There's obviously contact.
Yeah, but she obviously dives for the reason of she's in the box.
She's been stepped on, and the reality was that she got up straight away, didn't really contend it, and then we wait 2-3 minutes, and VAR
I give
intervenes.
kudos for her for getting up. Like, she didn't stay down.
No,
she didn't,
100%.
play it out or anything.
But you can ask the question of a penalty. The question is that, I mean, she would only be in that position through means of an attacking play that's worthy of that, and the ball wasn't great to her.
Well, this is the second penalty now that Chelsea have gotten. I think there is questions about the defense going against a team that just is so fast, right? Like when they enter into that final third play, they're wanting to score and they're willing to do anything to get into the box. So that kind of creates an environment for the defenders where they're lunging, where they're going for tackles that maybe they don't necessarily realize they're in the box to make. So,
yeah, definitely.
I think Chelsea capitalized on that very quickly, and I think Paris pretty much lost all mentality from that.
The goal opens the floodgates. My question to you is, what did you think of Nuskan in right back?
So from the start of the game, I was obviously aware that she was in right back.
Yeah, crazy.
But I don't necessarily, think she was playing that right back, in terms of they don't really have that traditional...
kind of like overloaded on that right side, and she was central cover. And then the reality was she tracked back when needing to. But you didn't need to, because prime Natalie Bjorn is sitting there as your defensive cover. I don't think she needed to go back that much, but her ability to make runs from the flanks, I was very surprised by her ability to be that malleable. I didn't know Nuskin really had that in her locker.
Do you think her crosses are better than Ellie's?
No, I love the Matildas, and Ellie makes great crosses. It's different. It's different kind of crossing.
I think she's just I think she's a far smarter player.
Yeah.
So when the thing I love,
she's slower. She slows it down.
She looks up.
Mentally slows it down.
She looks up. She sees her target, and she goes for it. Ali Carpenter is like a ticking time bomb. It's like a grenade. You get her on the ball, she's just running, and then boom.
And then just look up, bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And it's hard, because you're looking at a player that is naturally a right back, sits on that wing all the time, and her job is to get ahead of the player, get the separation. Whereas Nuskin Sonia's not telling Nuskin to do Ellie's job. Yeah, it's a different role, but.
I like the rotation. I think more teams should be rotating more often.
Yeah, exactly. And in the 38th minute of this game, the 007 curse is broken, as Alyssa Thompson runs that byline very cleanly, whips an absolute drill of a ball to JRK, who all she had to do was really just get her head on it, because the power from the cross was very good, and then she just smacks it into the top corner. At this
point, I'm thinking Alyssa Thompson just looks too comfortable. And if I'm the right back,
you got to give her body. You got to actually put pressure on her. Don't pull her hair like Balloon Room, but like actually step into her space, occupy that channel, and don't let her enter the box. That's kind of the key for this player, is that if she's whipping the ball from outside the box, it's going to be a lower percentage cross, but they gave her way too much space.
More space than she'll get in the WSL.
100%. And it fell, again, worst time to concede is just before half time. ABJ headers the ball after that near post cross, goes into the bar, doesn't it? And yeah, ABJ just had one of those games where it could have been a hat trick on another day. But the second half, they just kept going, and it's just annoying, because once Chelsea are in control of the game, they just give space to the players that need the space. So, for example, Cuthbert, I think, created 9 chances this game. Wow. Natalie Bjorn from centre half created 3 or 4, one of which was this one at the start of the half where Bjorn finds Walsh, and Walsh whips this ball across, and Deja Davis, who actually did have a good second half after this blunder, but it makes Kira Walsh look like she's prime bloody Aitana, but she whips this low ball and it megs her, and it ends up in Alyssa Thompson's back post. It's beautiful. It's good. It's a great goal. It's like fast movement.
It's just a type of football that actually I think a lot of Chelsea fans have been kind of wanting.
Yeah.
I think that right now in the league, we're seeing a very different Chelsea team to the team a style that they were playing today. And I think that kind of comes about also with the rotation. And obviously, as we mentioned earlier, the change in...
It comes around with opposition. I think Paris are a bit naive. I feel like they thought they could do what Twente did to them. Yeah. Twente were a lot more resolute. Two banks of 4.
And I felt Twente were far more physical. Just far more on Chelsea.
Didn't give it any more... Yeah. Didn't get that space to take step overs, hesitate. And then, Sonia basically called it day done for the front 3. 54th minute, Sam, Goro, Hermano all come on, the front 3 switch. Would you want that for your team? Would you want that for Renee?
I don't want Sam anywhere near my team.
No, but I'm saying,
in terms of the depth.
If you were up in a Champions League game, would you want Ford, Stina?
But we do have that. That's the thing.
Yeah, but would you want Renee to instigate a triple front 3 change?
We have done triple front 3 subs recently. Yeah. I think I would like them to be done maybe when we're in a more comfortable position.
Like 3 now, not 1
now. Rather than just a reactionary thing. Because I think right now, I don't really know when this front 3 comes in if they need like a goal. Right? Because I'm thinking Hermano sets it up a lot. I think Guro right now, I don't really know what her point is at the moment.
As I've said to many a player at this, not this age, but this stage of the life cycle in a player, Sonia is just squeezing out the last drops of Norwegian brilliance. And there was moments where it nearly happened.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
that
She
outside
played
the box, outside the box left foot strike into the crossbar was beautiful. But
you tell me 4 years ago that I'm putting Sam and Guro on at the same time and I'm expecting a hat trick in 20 minutes.
You'd expect 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Especially in this kind of caliber of a Champions League group stage.
And we move on and we go to, Sam left at the back post and just like completely open. These things just wouldn't happen. That you're giving Sam Kerr goals.
And look, you're coming in a place where you just have to rotate in order to build the fitness. Sam is coming on the earliest she's come on this year, 54th minute. Lucy Bronze comes on without a broken leg this time. Congratulations.
That we know of.
Yeah,
she won't tell us.
That's true. She might have COVID. She might have something else. It doesn't matter. She'll still beat everyone in the Chelsea time trials. She comes on for captain, which means Nuskin goes into that midfield play. And then the corner. Sam heads the ball. Don't know how. She didn't really just score from that corner, but Cuthbert kind of scrapes it through. It's very shambolic goal, and
Foot Mob did gaslight me before I went and watched the game to say that
Kerr got the goal.
So it looked like to me that it was Thompson and Kerr in the span of 15 minutes scoring, and
ruining
I'm not watching
life.
this game.
Yeah. It's horrible. It's a very bad day for us hate watchers out there watching a 90 of all our least favourite players banging in goals. But 64th to 90, there's really not much to talk about. They just kept the ball. Baltimore does what Baltimore does, which is thinking she's 3 steps faster than she actually is. And Lucy Bronze just being Lucy Bronze, that defensive cover just on the right. It's so... I really do question what Sonia's plan is for that right side.
Central. I think Bronze is
But
going
for who?
central.
So is it a rotation?
I still think in the league, Millie Bright right now is just not up for it. And you can say, yes, she's captain, she's a leader. But when it comes down to the big games... in about
4 weeks,
20 days, we put Chelsea play Arsenal.
Yeah.
And if I were Renee, I'd be going target Millie Bright.
Yeah. Well, I mean... Russo would probably want to work off her back foot and put the pressure on Millie. But I think Lucy is a much more physical, across 90 minutes, not a physical specimen, but like conditioned, even with her injuries, I would say if she's fully fit by then, she'd probably be more menacing for Alessia, especially the speed of Alessia Russo. Yeah. But again, Millie Bright playing her best game today, I wonder what she'll look like in 3-4 weeks' time. But
the weight of Serena Wiegman off her shoulders.
Yeah, exactly. And players like Lexi Potter coming on, getting a little cameo, doing little knocks and crannies around the field is exactly what you want. Yeah. The youngsters coming through. I wonder whether Jean-Francois is injured or just not fully fit.
I would have thought that she either would have started this game.
This is the kind of game where I'd want her in, but I think maybe she's got a knock or something because, I mean, bringing on Lexi Potter instead of her, I think she's definitely further ahead in the pecking order. Yeah. But that's all I have for the Chelsea game, and that's all I want to talk about for the Chelsea game. We move on to much more lighter notes, like Leuven beating Twente. I mean, amazing. Jill Roord, suck it.
Okay.
First win for Leuven in the UCLW.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy that they got a result that wasn't just like a couple draws and then they can walk away with it like a few points and they're happy. Like they got They got 3 points.
When they got their draw and you saw their draw, they were gassed. They were so happy. The UCLW needs moments like this. This is the football heritage they talk about. The end of the game, the standing ovation, the way they went to the fans. It was their I believe they didn't have a home game first. No. So they've come in, first win, crazy scenes. They were so happy. Coach went mental, which is how it should be, right?
And people don't really think about it, but Belgian women's football isn't necessarily like the most spoken about, the most respected.
And they're a golden team with a history that is so interesting. Stick around for what would KANG do 35 Belgian ball. But again, another nation where their men's counterpart has been successful in questionable ways. A lot of critiques around their golden generation, but this golden generation of Belgian players is yet to come. I feel like obviously there are players that have stepped into the frame, Tessa Voller and Van Havermaet are definitely going to go down as legends, WOSO legends for Belgium.
But collectively.
But again, it's the academy building. It's the youngsters in this kind of team that's going to build up.
And to have them play in the Champions League is 100%. Just going to be so character building for them. And I think it'll have great ramifications for them.
And it allows international players to go over to Belgium and think, if we win this league, we'll be playing Champions League next year. And then you can put your name on the map like that, which is really exciting. In comparison to a team that has won the most Champions Leagues of all time.
Yeah, this was a routine, Lyon.
They are doing serious business, and they are making me look silly because in my predictions, not just in my like predictions for who I thought would win the Champions League, but also doing UCL match predictor. They asked, do you think Hegerberg and Brand will score in this game? And I went, your little Brandard's scoring in this game. She's not even getting 5 minutes in this game, and then she starts and scores the first goal. But the way, it's not just the goals, it's not just the numbers and results, it's the way they are playing, the confidence they play with, the rotations they make. Oh my God, Vicky Besho. I love this girl. She's so good. Ash Lawrence gives her the pass. She flicks it on and then keeps running. The speed at which they were playing, St. Polten were like, oh my Christ. This was brutal and it was early and they had chance after chance after chance. I feel like Hegerberg could have had about 11 goals.
Well, this is another example of Lyon, I think, playing and dominating very well, but just the finishing being a bit off. I don't necessarily think this is like some sort of testament to what I believe will be like a gotcha moment at the end of the season when it's like, oh, they didn't score early and that's why. But I do think their depth, the players that they can bring on, the players that they can start with, bound to score goals. It's just kind of a matter of how many they do score. Yeah,
seriously. This was the Geraldes performance in comparison to when you guys played them.
I agree.
When Arsenal kind of just nullified their ball movement, the long shots, the whips from deep, Sveva on that left side, who's really coming into her own for this team. I think being able to rest Salma Basha for this game is exactly what you want to be able to do, and have what's her name, Tarsian and Basha on the bench as cover is just resting up for bigger and better things later on in the season. When I'm looking at the second half, the way in which Lyon were just styling on them, Uclw Brand is just, the speed at which she plays is pretty immense.
It just, you look at her and you're like, she looks like she knows exactly what she's going to do.
I'm not even saying it's her ability to run fast. It's with the ball, without the ball. It's all encompassing. Her
mentally,
her output is fast.
I think she's so smart.
She has to be ticked on. There's no way you can play at that level. St. Polten actually had chances before the end of the first half. I forgot about that. And Tegan Micah made a few saves.
Start for
beautiful.
Lyon.
Yeah, how does that feel for us?
My goalkeeper. Now, I'm not a Tilly's fan.
No.
But
she is a Tilly's fan. She actually is. She actually is.
I'm literally not.
But you are, in the sense of you don't like them. You're just a conservative Matildas fan.
No, I'm not. I hate the Matildas. Anyway, no, any chance to undermine Mackenzie Arnold, I will take it. And this is just another example. Whilst Mackenzie Arnold's,
if Tegan Micah won us a World Cup,
I would be upset that the Tillies won a World Cup. I'd be like, who were they playing against, and why didn't they smash this team?
Because Aura.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry.
Because we have Lyon's goalkeeper. We have KANG number 1's goalie.
Yeah.
Not yet, because Enla's. I mean, I don't know if you saw the lineup difference between the league game they just had and this game, but I think it was 10 or 11 changes, which is
they can just afford to do.
Exactly.
Both financially
emphasis on the afford. Speaking of a player with a bright future like Tegan Micah does at Lyon, Lily Yohannes decided to chip the goalie from halfway.
This ambition,
the career ambition, the national team ambition, or the whip, the actual chip?
Okay, so I'm watching this game and she does that chip and my dad turns to me and goes, Carly Lloyd.
Okay.
And I go, ball knowledge.
No,
but also, kind of, I was like, that takes a lot of balls to do that. I think it takes a lot of guts. And I think she knows exactly what.
It does take a lot of balls.
Yeah.
How many times do you think she's practiced that strike?
See, I think, yes, there is like a level of practice, there's a level of technique, but I also think she's just a player on form, a player who, like, you're looking towards Lily Yohannes 12 months ago, going, okay, she'll probably be on the fringes, trying to kind of get her way into this team. She's a complete...
Getting her driver's license.
Basically.
Getting her...
She's a starter for me. She can control tempo. When given the opportunity like she was today, she can also be such an offensive threat. I think she's also just very creative. And I think that's where you get, like, the Dutch roots of her from. She's very aware of her positioning, very aware of the connection she can build. Yeah. And I think she's just a far mature player than what we're seeing in age. So
it's her versatility that's so scary. I think of, like, Carly Lloyd kind of boxes her in a little bit. That's my issue, is that Lily Yohannes, at the start of the first 3 games of this season, Lyon were playing this 4-1 kind of vibe, and she was sitting 6. Yeah. She was in the hole doing all the dirty work, picking up things like, I don't know, like a prime Hasegawa. But then in this game, when you have Egarola at the base of midfield, she gets into attacking positions. So her versatility to be able to take on the inside game, the goals she scored this year are all just unnecessarily good. Like, she could score tap-ins, she could score little passes into the corner, but she's scoring smashes into the top corner or chips from 45 yards. There's not much I can really critique about her, because she's still so raw but so polished. It's crazy.
She's a baller of her time. I think in terms of what we see from that midfield in Lyon, I think it really reflects the kind of football that is kind of on trend. So they had Marijan for a long period of time. And in no way am I making...
Robbed of a ballon.
Yeah, but in no way am I making comparisons between Lily Yohannes and Marijan. But I think in terms of what they need, the style of football that is kind of on, you know, what people are kind of wanting to achieve in that midfield, more ball playing, more ambition, I think that's what Lily Yohannes is fulfilling right now.
There's no question about it. And with the US national women's team behind her... it really does make you think that this is the future of the sport.
It's frustrating, because I look at that US team now and I'm like, okay, well, for me, I think centrally they're a bit creatively barren, but now they have that.
This saves you. And they've probably got one more round with the older crop of American midfielders in Corbin Alberts. Like, that will be the last World Cup for them, 2027. But whoever partners up with Lily Yohannes will be immensely dangerous for that US women's national team. And Emma Hayes, if she's still there by the time Lily's 35 and Emma Hayes is 70. But ultimately, Lyon just looked fresh, and Besher had a disallowed goal that I watched and was like, I would have probably contested it more. I didn't really see it. But they're 3-0 up. Who cares? They won, and they won 3-0. And it was very comfortable. We move on to the actual important game,
which was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, this was pretty crazy. Wolfsburg really getting humbled earlier in the week, which we'll get to at some point. But in this game, fully got bailed out by our good friends, the video assistant referee reviews. Valarenga defended very well for about an hour. Bierenstein came on and scored, which I also didn't predict, because in the UCL match predictor it asked if Bierenstein would score. I'd say, psh, Bierenstein? No way. She won't even start. She comes on, goal. Just a player that you can kind of count on sometimes. And in her last month, she's been getting the numbers down. It doesn't really matter how, but she just ran through their defense.
And that's what you want her to do. If there's space in behind, you want Bierenstein on the flank to be able to kind of attack and also kind of exploit.
Press. Yeah, the press was crazy. So it was that back pass, and then she just ran it into the middle of the goal. No one wanted to take her on 1v1, which is crazy because they'd been defending so well. But again, straight after they scored, they got the equaliser, and Stina Yohannes just kind of struggled to it. And then you watch one of the most scary moments of this week is when Sarah Horta, who scored for Valarenga, her head just gets smacked in the face by Alex Pop. And I thought to myself, who in WOSO would I not want to be kicked in the face by? How many players are there worse than Alex Pop?
No, and Alex Pop is always at the scene of a crime, of some like bump or a hit 1v1 after a goal.
They could make a German mafia film in Wolfsburg, like the king of Wolfsburg, and it's just her.
Well, I famously remember Jen Beattie just absolutely shirt fronting Alex pop after her goal. So exactly. This is just WOSO history.
Yeah, this is the good fellas in WOSO. But the header gets there first. They're 1-1. Minga missed a chance. Valarenga defender heads it into their own crossbar. There's a lot of moments in this 72-90, which was like
just intense,
so crazy.
And they both wanted the result, and I really respect that, because I think early on in these Champions League draws, you can kind of be quite conservative, kind of get the points, move on. But I think both teams really wanted to get a result from it.
It's Valarenga especially, kudos to them, because Thorsness came on. This girl's like 34 or something like that. She has 10 UCL goals, by the way. I think she's a defender actually.
CDM defender,
had that long shot and forced Yohannes into a great save. And then we get to the 95th minute, the moment of the game where there's a 50-50 scramble, and Inouen, it hits her arm after Zakai heads it into her arm. It's very depressing moment for underdogs. A good penalty from Minga, by the way.
Just, of course, one of the best penalty takers.
Yeah, what more can you ask for? But the whistle literally blew after the penalty. It's sour taste.
And you can see how relieved Wolfsburg were, right? They really just needed a result, basically.
Saved their week. 100%.
And I think Wolfsburg, I don't think that they're a prospect at all.
No.
But I think what they can do...
Have you seen their schedule as well?
Yeah, no.
This is the easiest game they're going to get, and they're getting bailed out. Good luck for the next few weeks.
I think that they will be a good decider team. So I think that they will be able to decide the fixture and the kind of placement of other teams.
Don't make it, but shape it.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. Barcelona giving me deja vu, headwinds again at Roma's home ground, doing what they do best. Yeah, 4-0. This is Leggy's one true love against Leggy's one true hate in Italy. Esme again, ole ole, second minute, so 94 seconds this time.
So for me at this point, I know that she's listening to the pod.
Yeah.
Because I've been calling out Esme, saying, okay, show it to me consistently, show it to me in the league.
And I said you'll be a Barca legend if you keep playing left back.
And basically, I mean, at this point, I'm thinking, so we all as a community in WOSO kind of said, okay, so Esme Brutes can play wherever she wants. We won't even tackle her.
Free roll.
Yeah, and I think that she has the luxury to do that, and she's taking that luxury on.
And you have 78% possession. You don't have to play left back.
But this is the thing, right? I feel like Roma went into that game, I think, far more well set up than Bayern did in the previous Champions League fixture.
Well, Bayern believed that they could insert their own style of football in their game.
I think Roma, and I think the Italian style of football in and of itself is incredibly defensive. So I expected there to be at least some awareness that on the other side of the pitch is also a team that doesn't necessarily defend a lot.
No.
So on transition, you should be able to exploit. And they just did nothing.
They did one moment. We'll get to that moment. But that's where, like, you're 100% right. If you don't get it right for the one moment that you get the chance, and it's always that over-the-top through ball against Barca where we're talking about the transition, and we'll talk about it for the Athletic game later on. But how did you feel looking at the lineup straight away and seeing your Portuguese maestro in the 9, Kika Nazareth?
I think, so obviously we'll talk about the Ewa incident further down the pod. But I think, we're looking at a front 6 basically of players that could take up that 9, whether it be a traditional number 9 that false, or they could be a double 9. It doesn't really matter. I think what Barca really need now is someone who doesn't necessarily fulfill the goals that play or scored, because that's impossible, but is still a goal scoring presence, right? We need a 9 that can go in and score goals, and I think that's exactly what Kika did. I think Kika is a player that I think is quite underestimated in her versatility and
aerial ability,
and
definitely.
I think she's underestimated in this Barcelona team, because you just do have better players than her. I think
she's younger than them. She's hungrier than them as well.
And I also think Kika, especially with that hunger, I think you heard about it when she was at Benfica, just the love for Barcelona.
Yeah, she dreamed literally all the memes of her just saying, like, I've literally manifested this moment where I'm playing with Alexia and Aitana, and I don't think she plans it in the 9. I think she wants herself in the 10. But the reality is that more than a club, right? Meshkeon club, you do your job for the club, and she doesn't care where she's going to play. She's going to play her brand of football, whether she's on the left pocket, whether she's in the central channel, or whether she's stuck up front and shoehorned in. It kind of reminds me of when Lexi used to move up there. it's weird, but also it'll work because the system will allow it to work. And that's what kind of happened. It was early on, Patry, Alexia, Kika all getting brunts of chances, and Roma kind of defended relatively well to make sure they're not huge chances. But 1-0 at halftime, which I'd say is quite impressive.
That is very impressive, to be fair. Yeah.
And you can't really complain about that if you're a Roma fan. That's probably holding the curtains down.
If I were a Roma fan at that point, and if I were in the change room, I'd be like, okay,
we can get back in this.
We can get back in this and start the second half well, you know?
But no, that's not what happened. 47th minute, a penalty. This was the VAR intervention. This was when Alexia, takes a penalty and misses. Yeah. Again, another moment for Roma to be like, this is the time to get back in the game.
Is Alexia the only Ballon d'Or winner where you're like, I don't necessarily trust her on a penalty?
She's the only Spanish player that I would pray never takes a penalty. I genuinely think, like, if you want to reserve my GOAT status, just don't take them.
Because if I'm looking at the other Ballon d'Or winners, I'm going...
Just bring on Pina. I don't care. Just take off Catacol. I don't care. Just bring on a player who's going to schmize the ball in the net, not chip the keeper and miss the goal. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for my favourite player in the world. I don't know what I was watching, but
who caused the penalty?
An Aussie. Winona, I like you. You had a bad game. You had a bad game. You had a really, really bad game, and I'm so sorry. But you are going up against the best of the best.
It was a complete culture shock. So the Tillies hadn't played Spain at all during.
It's Avengers 1.
But the Tillies and I think the Australians don't necessarily play up against Barca style football, Spanish style football a lot. If we're looking at the Tillies and also where they play domestically.
We're too top heavy. Our Australian athletes are too top heavy. Nah, I'm just mucking. But they are just more techie than us. Yeah. They move faster. They're 3 steps ahead of us, and it doesn't really show in that first penalty. I didn't see Kika argue with that penalty at all. Only you literally watch the video and only the subs go, oh, penalty. And then they don't make a big fuss of it. And then 3 minutes later, they're looking at it and Kika's been brought down. It's a penalty. And Alexia misses, and you think, all right, so if they weren't going to finish the game here, this is Roma's chance. Yeah. And they did it. They created the chance. It was a beautiful ball from Greggy to Elia Pilgrim, probably the one player you want Roma to have the chance. And instead of playing it across the box to bloody Harvey at the back post open, she goes near post. Near post against one of the best goalies in the world, if not the best. I don't know what you're trying to do. You missed. And then it's razor thin margins because they go down the other end and Alexia does the same long ball that Greggy did, but it went to Salma, who's faster, and then she flicks it back, and then Kika scores this half volley off the ground. I don't really know how she's pinged that ball so nicely. But again, the cross not dealt with because Heatley pings it out straight to Kika Nazareth, and the half volley is just beautiful. And after this goal, that's when Pina comes on, the pressing maniac, as we love to call her.
EA's favourite player.
Oh my God. Oh my God. If I have to see another TikTok of people going, oh my God, she's this good in real life as she is. Oh my God, I can't do it. It's like
great.
It's like Truman Show. It's the Pina Show. It's the Pina Show where we know who she is and we've watched her play for the better part of half a decade. And now the whole universe knows about her because she's a cheese merchant in a video game. But as we speak of cheese, Caro comes on and it was game over from there, really. Heatley gives away another penalty.
This might be the worst display.
It's a hard game. You might go down in the Benchwarmers Awards of the year of the worst game of the year, but you're not the worst game of the year. I feel like you'll be a nominee, but there's more coming.
It's up there, and if you know me, then you know that I'll pick a Tilly's player. So.
Yeah, there'll be an Australian, a Chelsea player, and a Tottenham player when they immediately lose the title race, lose the Champions League, and then a Tilly's player.
There are Tilly's in both those teams, so...
Yeah, exactly. There'll be 3 Australians in the nominations. Lovely. But then Lexi takes this penalty, definitely much better in the corner. At least it's side netting.
She does this all the time. She misses one, and then the next one she takes... It's
not too bad, but the fact that it takes you 2 penalties to do it right is very sad. Sarah Jordi comes on for Patry, good stuff for her, getting her minutes in. I mean, just even getting minutes for Barcelona is a privilege in itself. And then in the 90th minute, we see Aitana, who was not kept quiet, but relatively not her main attacking output that we'd like to see her.
Because to me, I think that this is where I like Aitana best.
Yeah, you prefer her further forward.
It's not just that. I like Aitana in terms of why she won the player of the match for this game.
Yeah.
She's a maestro. She controls, and I think
dictates.
And I think that people forget it's her off the ball work as much as her on the ball work.
She flicks the switch.
Yeah.
She doesn't instigate it. It doesn't instigate the final pass. Like for the first goal, for the Esme goal, she does that little flick over for the cross, right? So it was Lexi to her, and then Aitana across, and then it lands with Kika and Esme. So she's getting the recognition from when you see the optics and the stats, the FOTMOB ratings show, but the reality is she's not putting it into specific GA output. She just tackles it off two Roma midfielders, runs down the left side on her own, just takes it her own way, and then feeds it to Pina, who feeds it across the box, and Cara gets an easy tap in. And it's just like, Aitana doesn't get anything for that, but they all go straight to Aitana because they know who started the attack. And that's why I think she's probably better further forward. And sometimes you think to yourself, oh, is Aitana better when Lexi's not on the field? Is Lexi better when they're not feeding the ball to Aitana and she dribble? But again, it's hard to find the balance. And I think that's why they lost last year's finals, that they didn't get that balance right. But ultimately, I think with Ewa out, they have a lot of decisions to make about how they're going to shape up this attacking side against better sides than Roma.
I just like the fact that when I watch Barca, I am only frustrated when I feel like it's forced, and that's very rare. So I feel like it's very natural that these passes are straight off the training pitch, and they work.
We're going to go into the previews. The 4 games we have tomorrow that...
There's great games.
I'm so excited. There is one game that I'm particularly excited for because I've been calling for it all year, which is the first one on the list. The little bit of a curtain raiser here, but Atletico versus United. It's basically, for me, a fraud off. It's who do I actually think is good, and I think it'll be a draw. I genuinely think these teams, this is ultra attack versus ultra defense. In my opinion, I don't see Atleti's defense as all that great. No. And I see Man United's attack being quite wasteful at times, and Man United's defense has been relatively excellent all year. I think in Spain, it's going to be, I think I had 2-2. I think I had 2-2 score draw.
I think this is United's for the taking.
Interesting.
And I hate to say this because I think Atleti... I think we underestimate how much losing 6-0 to Barcelona means, as coming in as equal, if not, second to Real Madrid in terms of form. I think that maybe even better than Real Madrid.
It's a bit of a confidence shocker,
and if you're going in and you're beating teams in the league very comfortably, you're having really great games from your top players, and then you get absolutely smacked
humbled.
Yeah, by Barca. I think it does have an effect, and I think I've seen it before.
It can't not.
So I think for me, Manchester United, they're in form in the league. I think they have their system worked really well. I think
They've got depth.
And I think they know exactly who they're going to play against this Athletic team.
I think Jess will start this game.
I think Jess will have a field day in that midfield. I don't think that Athletic midfield will actually just be fit enough.
Gabby Garcia did get benched, so she is going to be fully fit for this game. But again, the caliber of player, the speed and the agility and the freedom that Park gets, Gabby Garcia has a lot of work to do, not just from a physical strength standpoint, but being mobile enough to deal with Tooney and Park in the middle of the park. Do you have a prediction for the score? Who's getting the goals?
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1, wow.
I think a Turland double.
Double?
Yeah,
wow.
And then I think either a Jess or a...
Note that down today, 7:30 p.m.
Do you think I'm happy about
Leggy
this,
said
Ben?
Turland brace.
I'm not happy about this.
I can't wait till you're wrong. It's going to be beautiful.
Great.
I think Fiamma Benitez is one of the form strikers in the world at the moment. She's going to get a goal. I think my goat Garcia, header, 82nd minute. Yeah. And then United, I think United Park 2 in late. Okay. And they'll just bring it back. Okay. It'll be weird to see United not pull it back, but save the game, because I think Spain will be a bigger effect on them than they realise. The Spanish crowd will definitely get into them.
The 7 people who go
I
there
think
for the games.
I think Olme scores
really?
in this game. I think Olme's
best on form just because
she's just one of those players when you need someone. She's the kind of player that'll pop up, and I think Mallard will score. Yeah. She's just a good player to bank on, really. Bayern Juve, not really looking forward to this game.
Spare me from all the Italian football.
Hoping Pernille Harder will just do a job. She deserves some Champions League run.
Ariana Caruso as well. I'm kind of hoping she gets back into form.
She's had 2 good weeks, and then last week the Barca game and the game she just had, not her best moments. But I think when you're looking at Bayern's team and having a bit of a rest after the Barcelona game, I mean, they showed it in the league, but they'll show it in the Champions League this week. I think Leah Schuller's on for a big one as well.
I think they'll rest a lot of their players.
I'm thinking 4-0. I'm going 4-0.
Yeah, I like that.
Schuller brace, bull goal, and 1 extra. I wish Vanessa Gilles was playing. That would be such an easy banker. Tanikawa?
Yeah, I was going to say I love
for a
Tanikawa.
consolation. Yeah,
I'm going 4-1.
4-1. You think they cop one?
I think Girelli just pops up.
Caruso own goal again. Girelli, Girelli's a great shot.
Just a player that you know.
Yeah, and then another fraud off.
This one. This is
this a better fraud off than the last one?
No, this is a perceived fraud off because one of these are genuine frauds, and the other one's like masquerade as frauds until you like actually watch them and you're like, okay, they're okay.
Oil frauds versus fascist frauds. PSG versus Real Madrid. If you didn't get that one for anyone out there, what do you think about this game?
I think Madrid.
Chaos goals. Oh, no. Only goals? Or just actually, these teams can't score. What am I on about?
Caroline Weir, masterclass.
Yeah, she's been
I'm
really
saying
good.
it right now. I'm going to talk about her later on.
Do you think PSG score?
No. No.
I think that's fair.
I think, honestly, this is going to be a real awakening for PSG. They're at home.
Mary Earp's goal.
Mary Earp's own goal.
Yeah.
No, I think this is going to be a real shell shock for them. I think they're going to come up against a Real Madrid team who is on form right now. They hadn't lost in 9 games or so.
It's crazy.
And I think that at this point in time, PSG are facing the potential kind of like basically looking at the team that they should be, and they're going to face some sort of like reckoning. I think
it's tough because that front 3. I think of the front 3 of Real and the front 6 ultimately, and PSG. Not to be like a name merchant or anything, but PSG just don't have the firepower up front to compete, and they really put themselves behind. Without Gioro, they really put themselves behind Karchaoui. I think it'll be 3-1 at home. Yeah. I think Athenea is due a big one.
You think Athenaeus starts?
I think she might play in this game. Yeah. She had a bit of a cameo in that last game and did a great job. And a lot of Real Madrid fans have been yapping on Twitter about Athenea not playing enough, not getting enough minutes. We'll get into your club later about players getting minutes. But
do you know what else this is? The Olga Derby, of course.
This is the Olga Derby. Will Olga even play? That's the real question.
Well, she has been playing.
Yeah.
And I think this is funny because I think that Olga went to PSG, other than the money. I think she went for a project. Yes, I think she went for a project. And I think right now, Real Madrid are kind of coming into what I think Olga wanted from Real Madrid for the last, I think she's 150 games in.
Real Madrid is punching more of the rubric than PSG are for a project.
I think it would be frustrating to watch.
Yeah, it's actually immense to see Real do as well as they're doing right now. I think Karchaoui gets a goal. I'm saying 3-1. I think Caicedo 2 and Athenea 1.
I'm going 4-0.
4-0.
Madrid,
wow, crazy. Smasher. Any particular people or Weir 2?
Caroline Weir, a couple, I think.
So 2 braces in a row. That'd be mental for Weir.
I think Linda's in for 1.
Yeah.
And Athenea.
Yeah, nice. Very similar predictions. And then your lot versus Benfica.
If we don't win this
you will. It's a comfortable... God. It's after Lyon. I think it'll be it was a better... not a better performance against Brighton. We'll get into that very, very soon. Yeah. But I think it's a bit of a rest start. You can put a few youngsters on, get some experience in the Champions League early.
Can I tell you something about Benfica? Benfica play the type of football that Arsenal fucking wishes they could play on attack when they're on.
The transition.
Benfica, to me, is a team where it basically represents Portuguese football in its most fullest form, right? It's a style of football that is transitional. It is fast. It is techie.
Individual brilliance as well.
And now look, I'm not an expert on Benfica. No. I know some of their players and I watch them sometimes. But to me, if I were Arsenal right now, I would be looking at Benfica and going, first we nullify and then we stamp our authority on this game. I want us to win 5-0. And I'm not ashamed to say I want us to win, and I think we can win 5-0.
You have to win this game big. There needs to be a confidence boost with this Arsenal side, and it's got to come from the attack. Yeah. Your front half are just playing on low confidence. I personally need to see more from Alessia Russo in the box. In the box. Don't run down the side. Don't facilitate with your back to goal. Don't be a WOSO Harry Kane. Let's stick to your position. Let your midfield build up your attack for you and use your bloody right foot because you got the best one in the league, arguably. No question about that. That you're in the top 2, top 3 players with your right foot. Just use it. I expect you to win 3-0. I'm expecting 3-0, Alessia Russo with 2 and Caldente with 1.
I think, as I said, I think 5-0. I think there's going to be a heavily rotated squad. I think we'll probably see the likes of Pullover playing. I think that we may even start with Stina. I think
the centre-back partnership.
I think the centre-back partnership should stay the same. I just want consistency. Please switch
Wabben Moy.
No, I've had enough. No, fucking hyphen FC here. No, I think basically what we need is stability in the back line. A bit of transition in that midfield if we're wanting to add something.
Pullover's a good shout, definitely. Even if she'll come on in the 50th minute when you're 2-0 up.
I just want us to smack early, and I want us to be consistent throughout the 90 and not just score 1 and then go into game management.
Honestly, just concede 1 and then score 5. Basically. Do the classic Arsenal. It'll either be 2-0 and you don't get more than 2, or you get 5-1. So I'm going to say 3-1. Okay, you'll concede first and then schmack them at the end.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's what Arsenal like doing best. I feel like it brings the best out of you when you're 1 goal down. Maybe Renee should talk to the players beforehand. Play like you're 1 goal down. Oh, we love that.
Because we play like we're 3-0 up anyway.
Exactly right. But that covers the Champions League. As we move on to the WSL, we're going to talk about your team. Arsenal versus Brighton. 1-0, not convincing enough.
I'm so unconvinced. It's like I'm beyond. I'm so beyond. So let's just go from the start. We make changes.
Again.
From the Champions League.
Change FC.
Oh, God. So McCabe comes in for Hines, Ford in for Cully, and Smith in for Mead.
I don't mind.
I don't mind it either. And I do think this is Renee's favoured starting 11 for the league. Reed and Marnham hold their spot in the starting 11. And I think at this point, if we rotate anymore,
screwed.
I think that maybe Renee...
Without Marnham, your midfield just
Renee
dies.
may have like some early onset dementia because I don't know if she remembers her players and that's why she keeps changing them all the time. But I do need some stability there.
Pullover. I forgot about the Dutch woman on the bench. That isn't me.
No, but we start really well this game. I think again we keep starting so well.
And you looked so good. You did look really good.
Hope because I'm like the pressure's high. Genuinely, we actually wanted to play direct football.
Watched the first 5 minutes and I was like, this is 5-0, 4-0.
I mean, 3 passes from the back line to our forward line, and you're going, okay, well, this is momentum building. This is direct football. I'm actually wanting to see us play in the final third. And then we get the goal, and now I'm happy. And at that point,
I don't know how I didn't see it was a deflection. Why when I watched it, did I think Liv Smith scored?
Because Liv Smith has an insane aura on you, Ben. And she has
I thought she scored. I was like, Liv Smith, great goal.
Canadian
and then I watched the replay, and it's just a shitty cross.
Yeah. No, it's a shot on goal.
It is a shot.
It is also the most Liv Smith in terms of also the most winger shot on goal, where she just smashes it.
It's not on goal. It's an own goal. It's not on goal.
Whatever. Anyway.
It's a shot off target.
I'm just really liking that our wide players are inverting, our fullbacks are bombing on and creating overloads, and I'm loving the pressure. I'm loving it. We score and I'm happy. We do this trident attack situation when don't laugh at me.
You'll score and I'm happy. Yay.
Don't laugh.
No, well what I want to say is that the way you guys played around Brighton's press compared to the way we played around Brighton's press is just embarrassing. It makes me question the whole 2 weeks you've had in the league. It's really a hit and miss with Arsenal. You really don't know what team you're going to get. And the first 15 minutes of this game shows the level you should be. If you played like that against Villa, against us, there's no question. There's a reason why I predicted you to win these games. It's not because I think you're just better than everyone. It's because you play better football than them. And then again, this is what happens after you go 1-0 up. You get too comfortable.
It's exactly like the Villa game. There is genuine emotional swings in the 90 minutes. It's like you're thinking Arsenal as a whole as a season. You look back and you go...
Quadruple. Leggy messages me. Quadruple. We're winning everything. Then the end of the game, there's no messages. It's just, back to reality. My team's in 5th.
As long as we're in every competition, I still believe that we'll win the quadruple. I don't care.
Nice.
But no, I think internally in a game, there are problems because I don't know whether it's a Renee thing, and I've said this before on the pod, and I won't go over it again because I think it's just everyone's saying the same thing online.
It's a Renee thing.
Everyone's saying the same thing online, and I don't care. At this point, it's like I don't understand the mentality of these players. If these players are going to play like this, we will lose. And that's all I have to say because there's nothing else for me to add.
There's no urgency to get a second goal or a third goal. It doesn't look like people actually want to get on the score sheet, let alone facilitate someone else to get on the score sheet. And then if we're going to talk about things that your fans say online, we're going to get you quite angry, Allegra, because a big thing that we saw is that when Kyra Cooney-Cross came on, fellow Matilda that you also don't like, you have a player who creates 3 or 4 chances, made the most recoveries, interceptions in the time that she was on the field. She kind of just ran around like a headless chicken and did a lot of good things that a headless chicken doesn't do. And you have very big, prominent names in the football world telling you that this player needs more minutes.
And to that, I say, thank you very much for your opinion. It is so unwarranted and unneeded. It is beyond. Kyra Cooney-Cross is a player for a time in a game. She's not a starter.
No.
She's not a player that necessarily demands that same respect that you're going to give
to 1-0 up as well.
No, you don't give that respect to a Frida Marnham, to a Pullover, to a Mariona. I'm sorry. Her role, right, was basically everyone thought Kim Little was dust. They thought, okay, well, this is a player to come in 36. For the future. There is absolutely no way I am taking Kim Little out of that midfield. Absolutely no way.
You're still relying on her.
There is no player in that midfield where I can assuredly say KCC comes in and does a better job. No way. 100%. I think she came on and she did the job. She came in, she broke up the midfield, she added a bit of pace. There were issues though. Her maturity on the ball, the lack of finishing, the
wavelengths she has with players.
Things that she just obviously through minutes, I know that she will get, but it's early on, and at the moment, I'm not looking at her to make the perfect pass to Mead, because Mead's doing a run that Pullover, that Marnham, know exactly how to pass it to. Some of the balls with her and Stina were really poor.
Really average.
Her defensive efforts to me.
Stina had a few chances at the end.
Stina was great. Yeah. I thought Stina was the best sub to come on, but I think there is a problem there when we're looking at a player like KCC. First of all, calling her a young player is crazy. She's 22. I don't care. At this point, we have to be looking at these players, and we're Arsenal. We have to be looking at these players going, we take one off, we bring one on, and it's of equal caliber, different roles, but the same level. And to me, KCC plays like a player who just doesn't get a lot of minutes. And is that Renee's fault? Is that Arsenal's fault?
A little bit,
sure. But that does not then mean that we directly go and go, that's the player that we need. I don't think it is.
I think you're right, but I also think it's contextual, because if you're playing Brighton, a team that can easily get back into this game. Brighton and Villa, I'd say very comparable.
I actually think Brighton should have gone into this game, and I think if Adjaman and Rosa Kafaji were playing, I genuinely think they would have.
Exactly. They gave you a few outs with their injuries, and the reality was that a 1-0, when you're against a team like Brighton who can easily pick up points against you, they're not West Ham. No. It's not Leicester. I think you have Leicester next week. If Kyra Cooney-Cross wants 35 minutes against Leicester and you're 3-0 up, go for it. Absolutely. Renee, bring her on. Or even start her against Leicester, right? Sure. But against Brighton, you're 1-0 up. You're one mistake, and your team is quite mistake-prone at the moment, especially after the UCL game, to make a little blunder, and then you're dropping more points, getting further away in the race. There's no need to experiment when you have a tried and proven 11 that has held the clean sheet for 75 minutes. And I think that's where you have to question Renee's goals for each game when you're looking at a game where you're playing worse opposition and better opposition. When you're going up against Lyon, there was no miserliness. It was a very good performance from you that happened to have 2 errors in it. This game, it felt like she was being shoehorned in, that she was forced to put on Cairo Crini Cross. You're 1-0 up. Do what you want. You set your 11 and you set the tone of how you want your players to play. When you're saying it's her shirt if she wants it, she wants to play. Yeah. It's not about you. It's about you putting her on the field, right? So the question is not about who's in the right here. It's contextual for the moment in the season.
And I think that the system overrides any individual player having 100%. A moment that can win a game.
Other than Mariona.
I think, okay, so Chloe Kelly last week showed that you can come on and make an impact. But what eventually happened was she faded out of the game because the system overrides any individual performance.
I'm just glad they were off, both Mead and Kelly, and she actually listened to us when we're saying they're moments players. You bring them on for impact. They don't start games.
I just think the minute that Renee kind of forgets that, you know, she isn't Pythagoras and she hasn't just found out, you know, what triangles are and that we can actually play direct football, you know, we can...
Alessia squared plus...
we can actually have, you know, direct football that isn't corrosive to just the overall style of football that we want to play, which I think is good. We want to play possession style football. That's fantastic. I love it. Please play more football. Like, just play more football.
Yeah, just more pure total football, I think, is the key there. But
we got
win's
the
a
points.
win.
We got
3
the
is
points.
3. You're still in the race.
Arsenal, I love you. Quadruple incoming. Renee statue.
My team in second, getting the win in the Gaz Derby. The Gazball Derby. It doesn't get much bigger than this for Gaz. He is a beautiful man.
Do you want to give your apologies, like, initially to AJ first off for your mistake?
Oh, no, we'll do that later. We'll talk about my big blunder in the Benchwarmers Awards. I think that's better. Yeah, I mean, yeah. we'll get to that later. I'm so sorry, AJ. But he is listening to me. As much as I disrespected his country of origin, he is listening to me because I looked at the lineup before this game and Penne was on the left. And I was like, it's good to know. It's good to know. I'm one of the most, maybe the only City influence over the WOSO team. But in the first half, I think that was our best first half, even including your game. Yeah. We had 8 shots. They had 0. We had 70% possession, close to. So many combinations. As my friend AJ would say, we have so many combinations on the field. Like, you bring Hempo to the right and you get more combinations. Nah, he's so good.
You just completely outworked Liverpool. It was, to me...
Levels changed.
It's funny because to me, I think that Liverpool started off incredibly tired.
Yeah.
Like, they looked like they had just ran the 90 minutes. But I think that they eased themselves into the game. But I think City were always 2 steps ahead of them.
Viv specifically. I think they looked slow because Viv looked fast.
Wow.
Viv looked quick on the field. She had 2 chances in like 15 minutes. Probably should have scored 1. Set up for Gino as well.
There were such Viv chances as well.
I think she set up 4 chances across this game from that 10 spot. She's actually very underrated in this game, and I think she is coming into her own as the 10. But I think in future it will complement itself with her conditioning and how we want to use her. But I don't think it's good when we're attacking like Renee or Uclw, when we're trying to walk the ball in the net. Yep. We actually have players who can take on lower percentage chances.
You are such a direct football team.
Exactly. Just take on the deflected chance. Yeah. Take on the big cross into a header when we have the best aerial threat in the league by a mile.
You know, you saw it with Jade Rose 2 weeks
Exactly,
ago,
the long ball. Yeah. Exactly right. And that's what I want. And again, we didn't score, but we were all over them. Yeah. And then this was Gazball. Yeah. This was classic Gazball. So the OG Gaz and the Joey comes down from the skies in the second half. He comes down and Liverpool score the first. They open up the game and all he had to do was just come down from the Kop, the Kop end at Anfield, and Kapok at the Kop. She loves a goal. She has 2 at Anfield now. Kerry Holland whips the ball. Uabi giving her way too much space. She didn't actually have it. She's been good this year, but not great for this moment. Jade Rose and Caspi, I think they could have done better for this goal, but don't really blame them. It's a good header from Kapox at the back post. Yama can't do anything about that. And that's what happens, right? You get found out, you make a little mistake, but it took their goal for us to start taking on those lower medium chances. And that's that's the question. When you're asking the question about the teams you go for, it's when I ask it about Arsenal, when you're 1-0 down, who do you look to? When you go to Chelsea, when they're 1-0 down, who are they actually looking to, right? Are they looking to 30-year-olds like Sam and Goro? When we're looking at your team, are we looking at oldies like Mead and Kelly, like seasoned vets to do it? Because in my team, we look to our captain and we look to our coach, right? So AJ Eggs, my goat, Sergeant Eggs, and Alexander the Greenwood. Oh my God, the most reliable ping in the world. I think.
Whoa.
Left foot ping.
No.
Who's the best left foot?
Muppy.
Yeah, okay. Who's the most progressive left foot?
Katie McCabe.
Okay. Who's not Irish?
Okay.
Not Irish and not ideologically appropriate. My left foot goat, basically. AG whips the ball to Bunny.
Yeah.
Bunny heads it, and we've got receipts for Rafaela Borgraf again. I know you were come on the pod last week. You should have been here because I don't know why you're diving for this ball. It was so far wide. I don't know if you watch this header. It's so
Don't
far.
lecture the keepers,
Yeah,
Ben.
but you've dived.
No.
Yeah, I'm no keeper.
No.
But know your dimensions. Know your dimensions. That's the point. You
It's
don't just
the-
dive
It's
unnecessarily.
80-something minutes. She's tired. She's fatigued. And I think this was just a really good movement by City.
It was fast. It was a very looping, thumping header. She parries it in to Iman, the Sheik Bene, and the reason she was there is because AJ swapped the wings.
Yep.
He swapped the wings. He swapped it every 22 minutes. He swaps him and Fuji.
We were doing that. Arsenal were doing that earlier in the season. Don't remind me.
Yeah, and that's what it should be because we need to give
Such
different
good
looks.
football,
And Fujino and Iman swap again, and then Fuji scores a second goal. And also, who sets up Fuji's second goal? Sydney Lohman, and who brought on Sydney Lohman? Sergeant Eggs, right? So we're just he's making the decisions that impact the game, and that is all I can ask for from a manager. I don't care. Sometimes I don't care how we play. We were playing well anyway, and it didn't work. Sometimes you just got to get the result, and the reality is when you implant yourself on the game before the other manager does, that's how we're going to do it. And I mean, nothing happened at the end, in my opinion. There was no 97th minute free kick that happened that absolutely, got spooned by Yama, and then Gemma Bonner taps the ball in the net. I mean, I think I just dreamed that happening because I believe she was offside. Yeah, beautiful offside. Beautiful offside trap, never in doubt.
I have one question just about this game. The Viv question. I think, obviously we saw her come off. She was upset. Obviously, there was a lot of speculation.
The end.
After.
Here we go.
Look, I am no stalker on Twitter. I am chronically
You are.
online. I am chronically online, but I don't make assumptions about coach and player interactions. I think that's such an Arsenal fan thing to do. But I do think there is some. No, it is.
But not you.
No, not me. I am
not me, the Arsenal fan.
I am normal. No, but I do think that there is something to be said about Viv's behaviour, some of her, what she looks like when she's coming off.
Or what she looks like in the game, or what she looks like before a game.
I just think, if, in your opinion, obviously I have my own opinions about Viv. I think
course.
She's one of the best, and
Yeah.
I will always have the Arsenal version of Viv in my brain.
It's not the same. It's not the same Viv.
Do you think
It's not
that...
the same Arsenal either.
yeah. Do you think that her not getting the output, her not having the same influence, her teammates looking to others instead of going through her, do you think that's having a detrimental impact on Viv, and do you think that'll spill over to your season?
To the first question, is it going into Viv? Yes. Yeah. Is it going to impact the season? No. Okay. And this is the reason. I'm going to ask you a question. How many players do you think have the football IQ of Viviane Miedema?
Very few.
Very few. How many players do you think can talk back to the coach like she was doing at the end of the game and get away with it?
Very few.
Very few. But she gets the pass. She has so much to give. She's someone who you can see in the future actually being a coach. Yeah. The Dutch coach, the pathway is there for her at the end of her career. She might even be an assistant if she really wants to, because of the way she looks as she talks to players and talks to coaches, the leadership skills she has on and off the field. I think she hasn't become accustomed to the reality of her newfound output. Yeah. And I think that's fair. When you demand excellence of yourself, I think that's what I've come and learned to love about Viv, is that she's constantly trying to be the best version of herself, albeit in positions where she's not her best version of herself. I think if Bunny got injured, she'd be playing up front. She'd be looking to play with her back to goal. She doesn't have the luxury to be in those positions because we have the best striker in the league. We're not asking you to be the best version of yourself. We're asking you to be in that position. And the reality is that as long as other teams think that prime Viviane Miedema is on the other side of the field, we don't care.
Yeah.
And I think against Arsenal, you realised who you were playing against. You're playing against a crumpled version of Miedema. You didn't really have to give her the respect she's deserved. And then that's why she got a few of those long shots off. Didn't go in, but that's okay. But against other teams, their 6 is going to play on Miedema and just lock onto her. And that's how you open up those inside channels for Gino and Bene to cut centrally. And that's what I want Miedema to do.
I just hate the idea of Miedema being the sacrificial lamb in the system. I just find that it's really disrespectful to a player that in some respects, yes, actually had other players be that.
But she can do it. She can be the goal scorer. I'm not saying she can't. I'm just saying that she will always command respect of teams that are worse than us. And I think she'll turn up for teams that are better than us. And that's what I think will matter. When we come up against United in 3 weeks, I am so excited. We're going to batter you. I've been running through your United comments. I've been building memes of Yui's pocket and Jess Parks in the bottom. But that's the matchup I'm most excited for. But Viv will score against United. Viv will be the one where they don't give her the respect because we don't have to put the respect on Miedema. She's not that player, but she'll take on Zigiotti. She'll go for the long shots. And as soon as one of those long shots go in, the crowd will be silenced. And that's it. And we'll know why she's in that position. And Viv is such a moments player. I know before, it's not the same Viv. The red rose tinted Guna glasses need to come off, and she's not the same player, not the same speed, not the same position. And I'm excited for what she's going to do this season because I think it's going to be moments like who's a good example of this? Someone like Kim Little doesn't get the numbers the same way, but when she scores, you remember she scored, and that's what I want from her. Now we move to top of the league.
This was such a weird game to watch internally. My brain was like,
who do you go for?
No.
go for Spurs. So the London derby, a stinky this is my least favourite of the London derby. When you guys play Spurs, when you guys play Chelsea, it's so much better.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But when they actually play each other, it's such a stink fest.
No, it's also a stink fest because you have a style of football that only recently decided that it was football.
What, hoe ball?
Yeah, and with Spurs ball in general. And then Chelsea, who kind of rock up to the gaff and are like, oh, it's just Spurs, we'll take this. And then they don't because Spurs all of a sudden have decided that they were going to be actually like formidable opposition. I think the way that they played is testament to the fact that Martin Ho has actually implemented a style of football that is working really well in the WSL.
Yeah, but it got nullified in this game.
Yeah,
completely. They offered so little.
That offense was
Tandberg was the first time. I think she touched the ball for the first time in like the 30th minute, and then Millie Bright just waits to completely. It's a level change.
I was literally just about to say, basically you're looking at players who from 4th down will do really well. I mean, a Jess Naz will turn up, a Tandberg will turn up, but in games against Chelsea,
the nitty gritty ones,
it's just not going to work.
Crunch time. Yeah. This was the fun part of the week where 006 turned into 007. We manifested greatness.
This girl, I'm telling you.
She got player of the match, by the way.
She got player of the match for being fast.
Who was watching that game? I want to know. I'm just letting you know, WSL, if you're out there, we want the job. We want the job of choosing player of the match.
Because I'll tell you who was player of the match.
I don't know who was choosing Alyssa Thompson, but if you watch this game, Erin fucking Cuthbert was immense. Erin was insane. Kira Walsh, you can give it for the match winner.
If they want to give it to a forward, someone who's been disrespected all season,
JRK, yeah.
This is a player who was, basically, I saw people on Twitter calling her the Swedish Beth Mead. Like, that player's been disrespected this season.
It's also just not. It's like a weird disrespect, as if like Beth Mead wasn't a player that was immense at one point in time. Like, it's just so weird. Yeah. But again, Hoball very much isolates your striker. Yeah. I remembered it last week against Brighton. Tamberg had to occupy these deeper pockets of space for the long balls to go in. And when you're playing against Millie Bright, young Millie and Bjorn, you've just got no chance.
I think personally, Kira Walsh might be the most under-researched player in the game, right?
I don't know. I think she's pretty researched.
No, in terms of the opposition.
Oh, yeah, no. People don't... I don't understand how that wasn't come out.
So after 2022, people realised if you go on Kira Walsh, she won't be able to do those long pings and great through balls and connective midfield passes like she does. Okay, so we got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Then people realised all of a sudden that she can actually shoot.
Oh my
God.
God.
But no one thought, oh, you know what? Maybe we should mark her on the edge of the box because she's been doing these shots
all season.
Last
3 years.
I was about to say the last specifically 2 years.
And it's always the same shot.
Yeah.
It's a low driven shot to the bottom left corner. Even when she's on the left side, she does a left foot curler around to the bottom left corner. She doesn't know how to shoot to the bottom right corner. All you have to do is stand in that corner and she won't be able to hit the middle of the goal. There's no chance. But it's a great strike. It's a great goal. It's points won. It's that was a game that was 0-0. Very much nitty-gritty chances going all Chelsea's way, really, but you didn't really see who was going to get the winner. It's that question again, who's going to turn up for your side when you need it most? And Kira Walsh kind of just does it and has been doing it for half a decade.
I think a lot of people will question, okay, so there was the 1-0 for Arsenal, which was very unconvincing, and then Chelsea's was convincing, yeah?
Yeah.
It's because of the fact that they could simultaneously attack and nullify the attack of Spurs at the same time.
They never looked like losing.
No, and Arsenal always look like at least dropping points. And it's frustrating, but Chelsea just have that inevitability about them. They do have that ability to nullify any sort of Spurs, in this case, attack.
They're well coached. It's not. I'm not saying Renee's not an amazing coach, but the mistake proneness of Arsenal shows a limitation in the ability to coach her system, because Renee is not teaching the players to play without confidence. Clearly, Sonia, especially players like, I mean, we saw it in the Champions League, a player like Sio Nuskin, to be able to play on the right, just shoehorned in on the right side and do it with such ease and confidence. That's what a manager can do. And again, Sam and Goro come on again, like they're Justin Bieber featuring Ludacris. They come on, they offer very little and it's short-lived, but they have their 3 minutes of fame. And look, again, Aaron Cuthbert just facilitating chances. It's crazy. Especially Spurs' flanks got rinsed apart this game, and that's why I think Alyssa Thompson got man of the match, despite the fact I didn't really see it. I saw her run and get into these positions of great spots and do relatively little with it.
The yank Courtney Vine.
Yeah. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Oh my days. That's really, really accurate. Around the grounds, the WSL, we're going to fly through these. Let's be honest. A few stinkers.
Snoring.
Yeah. Aston Villa, Leicester.
Can we bunch the two games, Villa, Leicester, LCL, West Ham, into one? Just absolute stink
fest. But
yeah,
Villa Leicester was so much worse. Yeah. And mainly because Leipzig just saved everything. Leicester literally offered nothing in attack. Villa can't score. So it makes for this stupid training drill where Villa just attack. Mullet gets an open header. Doesn't score. Vilms takes a free kick, still doesn't score. Arroyo literally gives them the ball to try and facilitate an attack in transition, and Leicester were afraid to attack. That's how bad it was.
It was shocking. It was like genuinely like watching a bunch of children who have just been told how to kick a ball, because I don't actually think
it was painful.
For Leicester and Villa, I think fundamentally there are deficiencies there that you'd think against weaker opposition, particularly for Villa. Right?
I brought in Hansen and Grant this week. I was like, oh my God, they're going to win 5-0. I love Arroyo ball. It's so good. They were nowhere to be seen.
Can I just say, I've been saying this for the last 6 months. Chastity Grant might be the most overhyped baller.
She's dropping a brace this week.
No, she's not.
This is it.
She's been doing
That's
this.
all we needed.
No,
Thank you, Leggy.
She's been doing this on the flank for the last 6 months. You saw it for the Dutch. You saw it now for Villa. It's not good. They're actually hamstrung now on that flank because she's so limited.
That's all I need. I'm eating it up. I'm so excited. This week, who they got? Everton. Everton at home.
Wow.
Sorensen ball getting slapped.
Like Chastity Grant.
I can't wait. Villa Park, rocking. LCL West Ham. Honestly, this game... Okay, so there is a goal in this game.
KANG's Lani.
Oh my God, this goal is the funniest and the saddest thing I've seen this week.
I genuinely...
So the pop goal where she kicks the girl in the face is like, whoa, oh my God, what's just happened? Semic, I'm looking at you right now. I'm looking down the lens. Yeah. When you touch the ball to touch it down and you're going to take the goal kick, don't give it to your defender if you're going to sit it up for your own goal kick, because she passed it to you. You point and tell other players to go somewhere, except you didn't realize that Kangslani is running right beside you, making you were literally so lucky that West Ham are so irrelevant that you weren't even on Twitter getting memed, Semic ball. It was the most ridiculous blunder I've ever seen.
At this point, I'm actually wondering...
It could have been 0-0. They could have just got points, make LCL look silly by dropping points to the worst team in the league. But you've made me feel bad for Rianne Skinner. You made me feel bad for her.
No, I don't feel bad at all.
That's not Rianne Skinner's fault.
No, but I still think that Rianne Skinner has a lot to answer for. I mean,
of course.
Her players look like, they don't even know who the woman coaching them is, because every time they look over, they're like confused.
I feel bad for Shakira Martinez. Girl can't even get on the side. Crazy.
And I genuinely think that there is a lack of respect from the players for this manager. It looks like, I've said it before, I'll say it again, it looks like late stage Yohannes all over again. It looks like players who just aren't buying in. Rianne Skinner's obviously
Christmas time.
Yes, no, she's getting the sack before then.
Seriously.
Are we over Thanksgiving? When's Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
November?
We're not American.
I don't care. I'm trying to go for the closest.
We'll ask Alyssa next week.
I'm trying to go for the closest holiday here. They should just get absolutely dunked, because at this point, there's
Halloween?
no way.
Halloween?
Sure.
Halloween, yeah.
Yeah.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
This was a trick, this game. Watching any of this game. But shout out to Vivasay. That strike in the 21st minute. Yeah. If that went postage stamp bins, I know it hit the post, but that was so nice. I love her dead balls, and just like her edge of the box work is just mint. It's just a shame she's such a nearly player. She's the most nearly player in the league. Speaking of nearly, we're going to talk about Everton and how well they did for 60 minutes.
Jesus.
Oh, what they could have done. Sorensen, I was about to buy a hat. I was about to sit on this pod, say, you've done my whole life a favor. Colors seem so bright now. I get the toffee thing. You were in the new stadium. It was beautiful. Hill Dickinson running the world. And then, you got ruined. Back end of this game.
For the first, 60 minutes, I was going, okay, so they just hold on a bit more. I felt like at the end, United were bound to score. I just felt it was really disappointing to see just how Everton capitulated. Yeah, I think, the 4 goals, it was undeserved.
It was undeserving. I think Jess Park just turned into flow state. We'll get to that in a second, but what did you think of Talis Joyce's error? The parry?
Yeah, I think it'll
cracks in the system.
No. I think it'll get swept under the carpet. I'm telling you that. But when we open the vaults in about 10 years and we go into the Talis Joyce vaults, I think we'll see that she is mistake prone.
Yeah, when she has 2 World Cups and look, it was a one where just you make a blunder. Not every keeper is perfect. This is the 3rd goal she's conceded this year. Yeah, exactly right. It's a barrage of United chances. Before that, if they scored one of them, we wouldn't even be talking about this. Then they had a barrage after. Just the reality is of Mallard, Turland, Rolfo, these are players that are going to miss chances. Tooney as well. Jeez, add that to the list. But then eventually Mallard gets a ball from Miyazawa, who's coming into this season really hot. Oh my God. This is the best she's played since the World Cup, since 23, I reckon. And Mallard shoots, gets saved, and then goes straight back to her, rebound. And then as soon as they get the goal, you kind of just think to yourself, this game's kind of done, and the shots are against them. 9 minutes later, we get an own goal from Kitagawa. Very, very sad. And basically, Jess Park comes on in the 54th minute, and the game completely changes. The expansive nature. We talked about this really early on, that Mark Skinner was going to give her this freer role, this expansive role that she had at City for about 7 games, 8 games. It seems like she's nailed down the role. I think Tooney's going to sit more. Tooney's going to be that angry, menacing 8, and I think she loves it. Yeah. I don't think she wants to be on the sheet as much. I think she wants to facilitate. And Jess Park wants to be on the sheet more, and she showed it in that 80th minute. Basically, Olme comes on, and then the security they have to just take the game on, and Jess she doesn't have to defend. As soon as Olme came on, she didn't have to defend, and she sits so much wider, so much higher. The first goal she gets, I mean, it's crappy defending, but she gets in the position, and the reason she gets in the position is because they trust their defense and midfield. And why wouldn't you? Olme is just such a demon. I think she's going to go down as one of the signings of the season.
I think the same. I think she's very underrated. I think the way that she's able to dictate play, I think, is also really underrated. Back on the Tooney point, for me, I think Tooney's a bit of an enigma, because I think, yes, I don't think necessarily that, I don't ever think that a player doesn't want to get on the score sheet. I think there is a kind of comfortableness now that Tooney has, knowing that the other midfielders around her will get on the
not that she doesn't want to, but that she doesn't need to. Sure. There's no I have to take the reins on myself. I feel like a lot of last year for United was Tooney, especially when she came back, was Tooney going, I'm still the talisman here. But now she's kind of been through the trenches with United. She's gone through the role, and now that they've had this investment, she can be a cog, not a cog, but the X factor in this team. Obviously, I think Jess Park is now the X factor, but
I don't think she's the X factor. I think she's the stable role. I think for a lot of the time, I think Tooney was looked at to be the output merchant, to be the leader, to be someone who you can look at and go, get on the ball immediately. Yeah. I think now she actually has a lot of players around her.
The Fran Kirby at Brighton.
I think she has a lot of players around her now, and I think as a result, the pressure's off her shoulders. 100%. I think we're looking at a player that I hope matures because of this. I'm hoping that she gets a bit better positionally. I think she kind of gets some defensive nous under her belt. And I think it's going to benefit Tooney in the long term.
Yeah, and the second goal for Park, the fourth goal, the sealer, where Tooney lays it off to her and she just pings in that corner. That is textbook Jess Park, textbook set up from Tooney, and ultimately it shows a different side to United, which is their one goal downside. We don't see them go down in games because they don't cop a lot of goals, but they now have a different style of winning in their arsenal, and that is quite annoying, quite scary, because we're going to come up against them, and I think they're going to play that robust back four that sits and holds and is very well drilled and well coached, and we're going to have to test them early and make sure that they don't get back in the game like they can here.
Well, it's a capitulation by Everton, as I said earlier. Like, their best players, Claire Wheeler even, just had poor games. So
very, very tough for them. That's all we have for England. Guten Tag to the Bunds. We're doing the Bunds first this week.
We're starting the Bunds first because it's the big game.
This is the big game of the week.
Liga FA had their big game, if you like to call it that, but this was their Klassiker, right? Yeah. Like, this is the game. Everybody looks forward to this. I know people who don't watch the Bunds and just tune in for the Bunds, because it historically has been the biggest game in Germany. Yeah. I think it lived up to that kind of
100%.
I think that the everything around it showed how big of a game it was, but I think on the park there is a distinct difference now between Bayern and Wolfsburg, to the extent in which I'm comfortable in saying that Bayern are now going to win the FRAUEN Bundesliga.
They have to, and it shows that UCL form does not dictate your league form in any way, because I don't think VfL could have come into this game with more confidence, and I don't think Barcelona could have come in with less. No. And they showed the golf in quality. Clara Bull, oh my days, what a player. When it really matters domestically in Germany, this girl can take you to the ringer.
And Bayern started quite slow. They made some really sloppy errors early on, but you see when they start to lock in, you can see Clara Bull. I mean, her first goal is...
You got them demon eyes.
Yeah, it's an individual solo goal that I genuinely don't know how many other players can do what she does.
100%.
I think she is arguably Bayern's best player, and I think 100%. She's their best creator and also offensive threat.
It's a question of how how are we going to look at Bayern at the end of the season? What do they classify as success? And obviously winning the league is probably their coach's like fail safe. If they don't win the league, he'll probably be sacked. But what can they do more? Do they want a domestic treble?
Yeah.
Do they want cup doubles? Do they want a UCL run? It's hard because they don't have a good run. They've shown their level compared to some of the titans that you have in Europe. It's very difficult. But again, you take one game at a time. Minga had that strike. Was that early in the second half?
Early in the second half because Wolfsburg actually held like Bayern to only 1-0 at halftime.
Despite how many shots, how many chances they created. It was very much one-way traffic.
Yeah.
But then Minga, again, against run of play. It wasn't a great shot, but bounces off Ariana Caruso.
Who had a poor game.
Who had a very rough game. I mean, it was a bit of a snap back to reality for her because she'd had, as I've said many times, a few good weeks in a row, got her first goal for Bayern.
Last week, I mean, just the golfing class in the midfield when Oberdorf is there and when she's not there.
100%. And Lena will be a great addition when she's back in. But again, her fitness will always be an issue. So Caruso will be called into question. And then this is when Wolfsburg kind of push, right? Yeah. They make that run of play. Vigos Dottir just holding the line. She is just such a good defender. And when you find Gwyn and she whips, I mean, it's good to see her back.
I'm just so happy. She's back. Yeah.
It was really heartbreaking in the Euros when you saw her go down. That was kind of Germany's goodbye in that tournament. I know it was so early, but the reality was that they just weren't going to win without her. Sure. They weren't going to win without her. The captain, you look to her for the wins, and this is where it comes from. You're winning points. You kind of just thought after this goal, it was a weird volley, it was a weird goal from Tanikawa, but that's the kind of play that your champions. That's why players gave her the armband to do stuff like that, and it was just a brilliant game from her. And just I don't know if Stina Yohannes should have saved the volley.
I think that Yohannes has been in a weird patch of form. I think
makes saves she shouldn't, and then doesn't make saves she should.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
she's a very bit Spilsberger vibes. But Spilsberger makes some worldies sometimes, and then goes Mrs. Freeze. But there was some subs. Yeah. I didn't think there was much. Did many of the subs really do their damage?
I think that the subs did the job that they needed to do. I think they were a bit delayed, which was a bit strange. I think Bayern's gaffer knows what he's doing. I think he knows his squad very well. I just think rather than what happened last game against Barca where they were quite reactionary, these subs knew exactly what they had to do. Defensive subs coming on and just finishing off the game.
100%. And obviously the red card kind of just sealed the deal. Bit of a silly challenge. And then Settler, she scored. Oh, what a finesse. Yeah. Wow. The audacity to take that shot on. I mean, Bull and Stanway playing on that corner, just brilliant work. Can't question the finish at all. But it was probably deserved to have a 3-1 win. I think they could have even done more. But there's not much more I really want to say about that Bayern game other than the fact that they're in the driver's seat. I don't see them dropping anything now.
I think if we look at both teams, I actually do think that Wolfsburg's depth is far greater than Bayern's.
The top level is.
I think that they're not utilizing it enough, and I think if we're looking at collective standard, Bayern's top players just completely override any sort of
And there's also just more legacy. There's more everlasting legacy in this Bayern side. I don't know, when Pop leaves, what happens to this Wolfsburg side? Do they just implode, or do they sign Larissa Mulhouse? As we talk about the Werder Bremen game, 2-0 win over Hamburg. Larissa Mulhouse, 2 penalties, but it wasn't the pens. It was just her ability to set up her teammates was crazy. She drags in. So this is what I was talking about with Hamburg against Chelsea. Obviously, completely different opposition. But if you can't get on the ball as a strong, bulky 9, you're in big trouble, right? And when you're looking at Larissa Mulhouse, the way she plays off her back foot, sets up other players around her, flicks it to defenders on the edge of the box to take long shots and stuff. Her football IQ is there. Her strength is there. Her stature is there. Her numbers are now there. You can't question it. I think she's just someone. There's a reason why we put her on Baller Watch a few weeks ago. And anytime she does well, we're gonna point it out because we know ball.
She's a Bundes baller. That's what she is.
Yeah, exactly right. And I don't know. I can see her getting a big move. Werder Bremen is one of those teams that has a few young ballers. And Moke Papai as well. Didn't really do much this game, but had a few little moments. But again, she wins the penalty, takes on the penalties, and scores penalties really, really well. And having that conversion rate, you got to point it out when it happens, when they're doing the magic. We move to a huge game. I mean, this was a huge week in the Bundes. Yeah. This was Freiburg's 50th anniversary game against Frankfurt. And I think this game in Bundes history would go down as an all-timer. Yeah. A 50th anniversary game, and oh my days, did it live up to its level, because Frankfurt, you kind of thought would just run away with this game in the first 20 minutes. Yeah. Sense doing what we know Sense to do best, which is those long balls and just those expansive passes, finds our player who we think could probably win a ballon if she went to a better club, Geraldine, doing what she does best, playing the ball across to Anyomi. Honestly, it was a ball that was so good, it makes the striker move to the ball. They're the balls that are the best, and she smashes it in. 1-0, you think, all right, they've set the tone. Frankfurt are on smoke today. Look, Leuven takes a free kick, hits the bar. You think, oh, okay, it's one-way traffic. But then, 46th minute, credit to the Freiburg manager. Yeah. He brings on Selina Vobian. I don't know if anyone knew what was about to happen in this game, but my God, fireworks went off when she came on, and she started it. So she plays this ball across to Bierkoltz, kind of similar to what Geraldine did. Bierkoltz gets the equaliser for Freiburg. It's 1-1. And then Mehmeti, who, by the way, is a former Freiburg player, very important cog in Freiburg's system a few years ago, comes off the bench in 13 minutes. She does some interplay beautifully with Blomqvist. The flick on, I don't know how she does that flick on Blomqvist. She needs some respect for that. A great signing for Frankfurt this season. And then Mehmeti hits the ball with, this is one of my favourite strikes, the right foot to the left side, kind of just like, it's kind of like that, that Mbappe strike in the near post. Put it in the jar. It was just a beautiful goal. Fantastic. I mean, look, it's 2-1. You think Frankfurt are going to pull away here. But then we have it again. We have a moment where Freiburg just come back. The scramble in the box and a barrage of crosses. And then Vobian ends up on the edge of this ball with an open net. And you're just confused because Frankfurt's defense fucking suck. Oh my God.
To me, it's like Frankfurt's defense is their kryptonite, and it's like they've been handed kryptonite on like a golden platter every game, and they're taking it, but not realizing that they're about to absolutely capitulate.
They're the most top-heavy side in the league. Yeah. It's just score more than your opponent, and when you don't, and that's the reality. And it was 2-2. Vobian, I don't know what happened to Altenberg. Just stay in the goals. I don't know why she tried to claim this corner in any way when you have Illerstedt as the best cover in the world for aerial crosses. And then Geraldine has a chance to seal it. Shot is weak. And then the penalty. Yeah. Oh my God. Julia Sturley smacks the ball, goes straight into Illerstedt's outstretched arm. How do you miss? Really? How do you miss her arm? If her arm's as big as her head, got no chance. And then who steps up? Vobian. She's come on at halftime.
I respect her. She comes
2 goals, 1 assist in a 3-2 win. But it wasn't done there because Rasso came on and did nothing. No. But also, Benicart, the Freiburg goalie, makes this ridiculous save, stops Chiba from getting the 3-3. She made 7 saves and 12 recoveries in a 3-2 win. Wow. You can't, obviously you cop 2 goals, but there are games where keepers don't get the ratings they deserve, and you got to point it out when it happens.
And we say it every week, the Bundes just produces some of the best keepers.
This is it. This is the classic all-timer Bundes game. So many moments, so many nearlies and maybes, and then the smoke. And Vobian, shout out Vobian. I think you've probably had the best week of your life, so you don't need more shout-outs, to be honest. Hoffenheim versus Leverkusen, very flat game for Searchy. a player that we really like, just not getting enough of the ball. Only 1 assist in her last 3 games. Only 3 shots in this game.
This is what happens when you're linked to Arsenal. All of a sudden, you become shit. I don't know what's happened.
And then you know what happens next season? You go to Arsenal despite your form.
You get the link to Arsenal.
No, you go to Brighton.
You get the formal link to Arsenal, and then you go to Brighton.
And then you go to Brighton. But I did want to mention Fudala just did very well. Just got a header, a very good header, whacks the ball into the crossbar and in. So good. Bender as well. I think they both just youngsters in the league. Have a lot of space to grow. Fudala's had a great start to the season. And Leverkusen just create bigger and better chances than Hoffenheim all game. And that's what happens when you're a better worked system than a team of champions. And that's what happens when Serchi doesn't have that help that she needs, right? And again, you've got to find the ball in the box. You've got to trust yourself. We are done with Germany, with the Bunds, and we will vamos to the Liga F as we talk about the top 2 battle. It's not really a top 2, it's 1 versus 2.
one versus the representative of the rest of the league.
Oh yeah,
basically.
exactly.
It's kind of like
we choose you.
Yeah, basically, it's like every season it's a kind of tussle between Real, Athletic, and maybe a
Barca versus next victim.
And look, before this game, it was clear that Barca. This was going to be Barca's greatest domestic challenge. Athletic to this point were easily the second best team in Liga F, right? But I mean, in theory, this should have tested Barca, right? But
should have.
Technically and qualitatively, Barca was completely better than Atleti. And there were moments in Atleti's play we'll talk about where maybe they could have broken down Barca.
And they did. They did that. We can do it. We can just do it now. They had one moment
basically,
where they broke them down perfectly. Yeah. And who did the chance fall to? Gio. And sadly, that's not probably the player you want for Atleti having the chances.
Not my ex-Arsenal goat.
Am I wrong?
No.
So
I would want it to Luani, or I'd want it to someone...
Fiamma Benitez in the form she's in. Just find the back of the net. When you get those long ball chances over the top, that's when you're going to beat them. And they just didn't do it enough. And Barca are very good on their recovery. But my God, in attack again. And it's Esme again. In the second minute, she just loves 94 seconds in. It's a joke. Holy schlamoli. The scramble was rubbish, but it was done.
Yeah.
And Gio, I don't know, when Gio had that chance, she had Luani to her right. Yeah. She should have just played it across. I don't understand why she took that chance on herself.
To me, Atleti, I guess if you want to do like a deep dive into Atleti, you realize that they're not a team that necessarily needs possession. I mean, they have 54% average. They are top 3 in all attacking statistics.
Yeah.
But I do think that in and of itself, the style of play that they play is heavily dependent on individual brilliance and that transitional football. And if you're playing a Barca team, they will stop you from doing both.
Do you think it's just their form kind of built into a form of naivety?
I guess so. I think that that's a good point. I also think that if you limit the parts of your game that you're best at, then the parts that you're worst at will get shine exposed.
Through. 100%. I couldn't agree more. And it definitely showed in this game. Patry, that angle for that strike, no right to score. It's that they're the goals that show the class of the class alone. It's ridiculous because it's the goals that shouldn't go in. When Esme's getting those like little scrambles, they deserve to go in, right? But when Pina's flicking the ball onto Patry and then she's passing long shots along the ground between 3 players with no angle, like there's nothing you can do but just commend and applaud. And there's nothing to learn as an Athletic player after that game. When you go into the drawing board, you go into the room, the team meeting, and you go, well, we just got battered by Patry Guidaro, and that's what happens.
I think you could see that the players got really tired really early, the Athletic players I'm talking about. I think even their best players, I mentioned before, Luani, I mean, she came off and she just looked dejected and angry. Yeah. I think Barca is a game where you have to mentally and physically put 100% in. And I do think it's really difficult if you're playing them domestically to have an eye for the Champions League in Athletic's case. I think it's also really difficult to have an eye on the rest of your season. You don't want to burn out too quickly after one game of putting 100% in.
Definitely not. And I think when they go into this United game, they can't be thinking about what happened in this game. Obviously, United will be looking at it as a blueprint, But the reality is the personnel is different, especially when you have Aitana and Alexia just running the show by the 50th minute. What I liked in this game, Ona Batia just holding her own and her space on the right side, not just overlapping when the moment had to happen, but Aitana overloads on the right side, plays that ball to Pyor. Pyor gets the finish, and then the moment happens. Yeah. We have a player that I think is the best. I think she's the best in her position. I think she's the best striker in the world. She's the most complete striker in the world, and her numbers show that. I actually have the signed kit right behind me as a little bit of a memento to the end of the next 6 weeks, because she went down. We both messaged each other. We thought it was bad. She was in tears.
I kept saying online ACL, obvious. And I texted Ben, the SNC specialist here. And I went, Ben, now just tell me the truth. Give it to me straight, Ben.
So what is a PLC, right? So a PLC, look, it's not that bad. It's bad, but it's not great. So obviously it's more got to do with the lateral side of her body, the way her leg twists. Yeah. So the lateral collateral ligament, the popliteus tendon, like basically when it's not twisted, it's good for stability on the outside of the knee joint. And it's harsh because the thing is that these kind of things, as long as it's minor, and 6 weeks is not too bad, it's kind of normal. Like it's not like a major tear, minor tear. But I'm more worried about the mentality. Right, so how the mentality changes after this injury. And I'm hoping, look, Ewa is, you can see the way she plays. And also it's built into Polish culture, like the Lewandowskis and them. Their bodies are just held so strong. Polish power, like she will just come. There's no way that the mentality will get to her, and she will think that her body will get back to perfect condition. And again, having the league as a little bit of a springboard to ease herself back in, that will be the key. But again, we're hoping that she comes back, she does her rehab the way it should be done. I think she'll be back in business in probably, I reckon they'll ease her back in through the league in 6 weeks, and then by 8 weeks she'll be back in the Champions League.
I think you'd never want this to happen to any player at any time of the
not
season.
her as well. Oh my God.
But if it's going to happen, it's good to happen now rather than later in the season. I also think it's good to happen in a Barcelona team. We forget just the depth of this team, the front six, we talked about it earlier.
But she's a different depth.
She is a different depth, and I think that you can't underestimate the impact, the goals that she's going to have, the link-up play that she has.
Because they don't have anyone, like if we're talking about Kika in the 9, she's like, I don't know, putting mustard on like a potato cake. It works, but it's not really the first thing you put in there. But this is like Ewa Pyor is the chicken salt. Like she is the perfect striker. They don't have a perfect striker replacement. Like this is as good as it gets from their position. You take away Alexia, you have Sarah Geordie. You take away Salma, you have Vicky.
Yeah.
You take away any of these players in the flanks. They're even building their flanks up now, and their centre backs as well. It's the one player where you think, oh, they actually don't have that cover.
And then we forget that it did take Barcelona's always had, in my opinion, since Jenny, a bit of a striker problem. Yeah. I understand you'd had different types of strikers come in. Josh Wilders, we played Salma there for a little bit. But I do think that Ewa Pyor has been the best Barcelona striker to complement Barca's system since Jenny. So to see her go, you're also seeing a major cog in the system.
100%, and it's crazy to say that they're limited in depth, the best team in the world, but the reality was it opened up the game a bit more. Caro to Aitana, Aitana to Lexi. This was the goal of the game. This one, the holy, as we said, the holy trinity goal. My three favorite players in this team. The strike to the near post from Lexi. When she's on, she just looks the best in flow state. That lofted ball to Salma, 20 minutes later? made Salma look good with the one-touch pass across the box to an open net.
Do we talk about the next?
What? The 97th. So this what? Leia Alexandri's goal.
Yeah. So basically, I'm sat down and I'm going.
Last kick of the game.
Yeah. I'm like, someone's going for this. Yeah. I'm like, okay, someone's going for this. She whacks this ball.
Launch of a free kick.
Just insane rocket.
Yeah.
And I mean, I
keeper
really,
did well to parry.
I really respect Atleti's keeper. Obviously, I mean, just Spain legend and what happened. It's terrible. Yeah. But this is so embarrassing. Yeah. And I'm happy for Alexandria. I mean, she got the goal for her club, the club of her heart, basically.
Yeah. And that's what it should be. It's weird to see former love just scoring for them, but it doesn't hurt.
It's like seeing an ex getting married.
Exactly. Yeah, she's doing great.
Yeah.
But again, another one, routine win for Barcelona and Romeu. They are just schmizing anything in their path. They are an unstoppable force at the moment.
And you want to talk about an individual unstoppable force?
Yeah, so I hope to be. I hope to be right. But the last game we'll talk about in Spain is Granada versus Sociedad. It was actually a 2-2 score draw. It was a really good game. But I just want to focus on one player that I mentioned really at the start of the season, Edna Imarde. On loan from Bayern Munich, got a brace for Sociedad. She has 4 in her last 3 games. Her aerial ability is something to watch. Like, she is so strong, so big. You watch her on the field in these Spanish games and she's going up against these like tiny Spaniards and she's just like a fish out of water. She's this giant mobile machine, and I feel like anytime she just headers the ball, no one's going to stop her from getting in her path. Like, I wonder what will happen when they come up against a mid-sized, like if she's put into a system, like Bayern system specifically, she will just be a force to be reckoned with. And it's exciting to see because we haven't really had that from Nigeria since Osh. Ajibade's good, but not that level, I don't think.
No, I think this is a player that you could definitely see kind of moulding around the Spanish and Nigerian systems.
She could even go to NWSL and run the show there if she really wants to. GIF Monday team up, but we'll see. But that's all we really have for
Real
the
Madrid
Liga.
won. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Real did win. What was it? 4-1. Caroline Weir schmizing everyone.
Come home, Caroline Weir. That's all I keep saying.
Yeah, wait, to my team?
No, to my team.
No, to my team.
To my team.
To my team.
Whatever.
She's City legend.
My team.
City legend.
Yeah, Arsenal made her.
Who was she better for?
Well, obviously she was better for the team.
And we vamos we don't vamos. We
Allora.
This is your language. Here we go. We're not doing the Arkema this week. No France this week. We're doing Serie A. Why are we doing Serie A this week?
Well, I mean, there were a couple good things that happened in the last 2 weeks. It started, for one, we didn't mention it last week because we don't care. No, I'm kidding. It started. The first couple of rounds happened. Some interesting results. Another Girl Boss FC, but I like to call it Tax Break FC, Como.
Girl Boss FC. Oh my God, there are so many names you can call Como.
No, but they're one of the, I mean, at this point, I've seen more of Alicia Lehmann.
Como House. They should call their stadium Como House.
I mean, I see more of Alicia Lehmann on my feed repping like their kits or their whatever they're trying to sell me, rather than their football.
Alicia isn't selling Como. Yeah. Como's selling Alicia.
Well, that's a lovely thought, Ben. I mean, I like to still think that there's like some sort of purity in football and capitalism has deeply infiltrated my game.
Yeah, never.
No.
Never. Stick around for what would KANG do.
No, but I mean, the big news is that Como beat Juve. This is huge news.
That's
the last 5-minute winner. And for Juve, this is really damning, right? I mean, this is a team that is basically Serie A royalty when it comes to just how much they've won, what they do in the league year in, year out. And this is really just a really disappointing result.
Yeah. Are they? They're still top of the league? No.
Because Roma's top of the league.
Wow,
they have 2 wins from 2.
The pilgrimage.
Basically. No, but the pilgrimage, but also Giuliano. I mean, it's just
she's a machine.
Persistent baller here.
And just Italian national, does it every tournament.
I think that if she had left Roma earlier, I think she could have become one of the best midfielders in that role.
She's got to be the most reliable Italian national in the side by a mile.
Easily.
Yeah.
I think she had the previous link up with Giacinti, and I thought, okay, well, when Giacinti leaves, what will happen? But I think she's
just come into her own.
Yeah, and then I think the Fiorentina Inter draw. I mean, if we just mention it really quick, it really is the matchup that I like to call. That's where that player is now. Okay.
And who are those players?
Oh, I mean, you have your Dottiers in there. So Icelandic ballers in there. Walhart's in there.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Salvini, she plays for Fiorentina. Yeah. So you're like, oh, she's there and she's there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a little bit of Inter in the Europa Cup. Yeah, Vala is just. She'll be a presence.
And Garcia as well. So
that's true. Crazy. So they've definitely got some players. I like how you've written Diorentina. I'm seeing like a little bit of a PR possibility there with Christian. That will work. But the reality is, As the Serie A goes forward, we're going to be looking at Como a lot. Yeah. As behind us, we have a Chidiac top. And we're excited to see.
Just a big shout out to Chidiac.
Yeah, Chids is I love that. Like Leggy hates the Matildas so much that she loves Chids.
I love Chids because Chids is anti-Tillies.
No, Chids is not anti-Tillies. The Tillies are anti-Tillies.
Yeah, true.
Because they don't play Chids. I really hope we don't end Chids' career thinking, what if?
Yeah, true.
Because right now it is a little bit of a what if.
But Como Chids right now, I'm rooting for it.
Yeah, beautiful stadium, beautiful human.
No
Love
taxes.
Chids. No taxes. Our Benchwarmers Awards. Yeah. Yes. So this week, I don't want to do this segment. I'm so sad.
One of us here is morally bankrupt. The other one here is, just I'm picking the players that deserve it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and ex-players.
and I just say I can die knowing that I'll never pick a Spurs player.
That's very true. I am gonna change I'm gonna be nice to myself today because I deserve that. So never bench again. I'm putting down Kika. I'm putting Kika Nazareth
you're
down.
putting Kika.
Okay, originally I had Ziggy.
Yeah, exactly. Tell the people.
Yeah, I had for the Athletic game. She can't be. She has to have been rested this week, coming on in the 80th minute against Everton. The reason she's rested is because when she's on, the security United have is actually scary, and it pisses me off because Ziggy wasn't an expensive signing. She could have been scooped up by any team. Sixes are hard to come by in this league, and she is fantastic. But I also have Kika Nazareth because she's now going to be playing. Yeah. She's never being benched again because they need that 9. And if you've got aerial ability like Kika, you've got the volley, the athleticism, the power. She's going to be living out her dream just in a different position that she dreamed of. But yeah, that's my never bench again. Who have you got?
Yeah, well, we talked about her earlier. Selena from Freiburg.
Selena Vobian.
Yeah.
Yeah, baller.
I think honestly, I mean, I haven't really seen a performance like this domestically in a while. I think this is a player that came on, knew exactly what she had to do. And she did it in a way that just completely opened up a game that I don't necessarily think Freiburg were intending on winning to the extent in which obviously a team hopes to win, but this is against Frankfurt. Yeah. And these players aren't of the same caliber as the top Frankfurt players are, but she comes on, she does her job. She's 23, she plays for German, and she's a German international, hopefully, in the next few years. Because I do think
after this game, they put yourself in good stead.
There's a place for her in the squad.
It's crazy because to do it in the occasion, to do it in the 50th anniversary, a moment like that, your fans will never forget that. And to be involved in all 3 goals in the way she did, it's that you have arrived.
Yeah.
Selena has arrived, and there's no question that she won't be benched next week. She'll have to play with a performance like that. As we move on to Super Sub of the Week, I hate my lifetimes too.
I think this is worse because
because of receipts. Jess. I'm giving Jess the recognition she deserves. The Super Sub of the Week. Park. Yes. Oh, was that unclear?
Well, there are multiple.
Go on. Who am I talking about? Fishlock.
Yeah.
Is that it?
R.I.P. Jess Fishlock. He retired from international.
Yeah, exactly. Jess Park. 2 goals. The way she played, her transition with Tooney, facilitator outside the box. They set each other up. They love each other. They're best mates online. Yeah, it's great. Yeah. She had a great game, and I'm being a person honourable in my defeat in the trade because Grace is just not as good as her, and that's okay. But I love that United fans were pissed off with the trade, and now they're all going to be like, "Oh, well, we won." I'm like, "Well, yeah, your system works better for her."
My super sub is, of course, Marta. I mean, this is a player.
Oh my god!
And
is this about yesterday or
this is no?
This is about her whole career.
This is a domestic game in the NWSL. I mean, she comes on last 20 minutes. I'm going to say.
And what was the score?
And it was. What was it? 0-0, right?
It was
and
shit.
It was
this game was
bad.
Rubbish.
It was shocking. But
know why I know it's bad? I know a game in the NWSL is bad if Leggy is messaging me more. I know it's 0-0. The volume of messages goes down if there's more goals in the game because she's locked in and she'll go, Ben, watch this game. That's it. But if the game's shit, she's like, why am I watching this trash?
Never watch NWSL. And then Unless this happens. Yeah. Now, this is a great moment. And I've put her as super sub because not only does she come on and make an immediate impact, giving basically the players martyr eyes.
Yeah.
But mayhem
my
eyes.
God.
Just going to battle, right?
Martyr
Every time
eyes.
she goes in for a tackle.
For anyone out there that is listening to our podcast for the first time 2 hours into this.
Yeah.
Marta eyes are Kobe eyes.
Yeah.
She was angry. It's going to be in the post. The post, we're going to have that screenshot of her eyes doing that. It'll be mint.
But no, it's the corner that whips in. I'm recording this going, Ben, watch this. She's on. She's going to do something. I'm not expecting her to score a golazzo Olympico that was not given for some unknown reason, which should have been given.
Because it was an own goal.
Who cares? Who cares? It should have been given.
Honorary goal, Marta.
She comes in. She obviously sets up the winner. She doesn't need the GA. Everybody knows her worth. And she's a super sub of the week.
The stats don't matter to this. The 3 points is what matters, and she did that off the bench, and it was elite. And then our favourite award of the week, the Come on the Pod. Honourable mention, you've got out of jail this week. Semic, that goal conceded. Yeah. When West Ham had the momentum, they had the chance to win this game. You are crap. But you're off the hook because I'm putting myself in the Come on the Pod category.
You're already on the pod, Ben.
I am on the pod, but I'm putting myself in the come on the Pod again, to double up, because I posted on my Instagram after the Liverpool City win, after the brilliance and tactician work that AJ Eggs is. And I said he was my favourite Dane when he's a Swede. Not great.
Not realising that this guy looks like the twinkiest Swede.
I understand he looks, but I thought that was like the meme about it. But also he has coached the Denmark national team, and I think that's why I was like...
Sundhagen coached the Brazil national team.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Tony Gustafsson coached the Matildas.
He's more Australian than I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, depends. I mean, are we those kind of Australians? Jesus Christ! Don't take our values from that moment. But love that. AJ Eggs, he's unreal. He's kind of got the tactics, he's got the history, he's got the resume. Yeah. He's worked with the best of the best at the best of the best times. I mean, coaching Marta in that era, my favourite Swede by a mile. Wow. Because there's no other Swedes I like.
You hate the Swedes.
Yeah, there's no other Swedes I like. I'd actually say that it's Stina and JRK are next because I don't like anyone else. I don't even like our ex-Swede. I don't even like Angadal that much. I don't like Kangslani. Done. I just prefer watching Stina and JRK. But yeah, who's your Come on the Pod?
My Come on the Pod is more of an invitation.
Oh, here we go.
Ian Wright.
Oh my days.
Please.
I do love you, Ian Wright. Before Leggy rips into your soul,
I'm not gonna rip
I
into
love
him.
you so much.
No, I'm
You're
not gonna rip into
such
him.
a legend.
I first became a football fan because I was an Arsenal fan. Yeah. My parents are Arsenal fans. It's a whole thing, right? Ian Wright, I watched.
He broke Cliff Baston's record.
Whatever. His era to me, that whole Arsenal, I grew up watching that era.
Yeah.
Ian right now as a pundit, I believe, and this is a wholehearted belief, no ill menace here, I believe he stepped over the line.
Yeah.
I don't think that you can be an objective pundit, and I understand he has the Arsenal glasses on all the time, but I don't think you can be an objective pundit whilst having A, relationships with the players that are involved in the team, B, having insider knowledge about what's going on the training field, and C, as I mentioned earlier, the bias. It's
a tough position for him to be in.
I think right now, all he can do is just get off Twitter.
Yeah.
Just stick to the mic on Sky Sports and speak objectively about how you think the game went, what you think Renee could improve on. I personally don't believe that you should be shouting out stats of players or saying this player should be
pulling out receipts.
Yeah, because
Renee.
I would ask Ian Wright, are you willing to say that Cooney Cross has a place over Mariona, over Marnham, and over Kim Little?
No, but he'd do the CBS Sky Sports. It doesn't matter who the players are. She should be getting more minutes, this is my issue with, like, when we come on and talk, there's a sense of passion and a sense of bias, but it comes with a sense of pragmatism. There is a reality to, I mean, I would not say Iman Bene should start if Hempo was fit, right? Yeah, if Carolyn was fit. I can't say that. Yeah. But the situation we've put ourselves in with injuries, Bene can start, yeah? As soon as Hempo or Carolyn's back, do I expect Bene to start? Absolutely not. I'd love her to start. But there's a pecking order.
I don't know.
And KCC, Ian Wright knows that pecking order. He's lived that pecking order because he played in a golden generation of England where he was behind Michael Owen and every other English striker that's ever played, Teddy Sheringham and all these brilliants, Alan Shearer. It's just crazy the team that they had. Andy Cole, sorry, that's the one I'm missing. But this is a group of players that have skin in the game, have extra skin in the game because they're a part of the team, and then are very reserved, especially when he's talking about Arsenal's men's side. He's quite reserved when he talks about giving criticism, but he's talk about Jenna Niswanger, he's talk about KCC, is very vocal.
I just think I really respect what he's done in the
Come on the
women's
pod
game.
if you're that vocal. Come on the pod.
If I respect what you've done for the women's game. You're a fantastic.
He's an icon.
Proponent for the women's game. I just think that when the takes start to become more advocating rather than criticism, I think that it steps along.
I met him at the Australia-Canada game. I was second row. I met him and Schwarzer. Loveliest bloke. But he would be great on the pod. So Ian, want to come? Anytime. This is Leggy's NWSL Watch.
So, although there were some really great moments this week in the NWSL, I just really wanted to dedicate this time to talk a little bit about Kristen Press. In honor of her, I will be saying soccer instead of football, which to me is like the highest form of respect you can give because I hate saying soccer, okay? But we're going to do it.
That's why we use WOSO. So I don't have to say soccer, but yeah.
CP23.
CP23.
She wasn't a groundbreaker in the traditional sense. Like, she didn't revolutionize the game or make her mark to a greater degree than even some of her peers who, the Alex Morgans, the Tobin Heaths have recently retired. I think they had a greater legacy, but I think...
Even prior as well. Wambach, that era of...
definitely.
The golden era of the US.
Not necessarily like an underrated player, but definitely an underrated person. Genuinely, the first words I can think of when I think CP is courage, and not the NC courage.
Yeah, I was going to say.
She stood up for herself both on and off the field. The efforts she put in seeking justice, whether it be speaking out for the abhorrent behaviours occurring in the football teams and institutions she played for, or being part of the public, being one of the public faces and one of the hardest workers behind the scenes to secure equal pay for the US women's national team's collective fight against the federation. On the field, it was the courage to leave the States and have a fantastic career overseas, particularly in Sweden, where she made a Champions League final in 2014. And this is not just any Champions League final, by the way. This is one of the best two-legged Champions League finals where she played for Triso FF. Yeah. And she didn't score. She didn't make her mark on that game necessarily, but up into that run, she scored 9 times.
Wow. Was she top goal? She would have been close to top goal scorers. And she's not that traditional 9 in any
high
sense.
40s in appearances, low 40s in goals. I mean, this is a player that definitely has left a mark overseas. Yeah. She later went on to make appearances for a plethora of clubs in the US. She went back to Sweden for 2 stints at the club that is now referred to as Häcken. As well as a brief but very memorable stint at Manchester United, where she scored in the team's first game at Old Trafford.
Really,
she has a great story about that. If you want to watch that on the recap show, her podcast.
Nice.
I think internationally, it's where her career most flourished.
As many US players do.
300 out of 365 days you play, of course, you're going to be more recognised for your international career. She's one of the players who on debut scored 2 goals and 1 assist. I mean, name another player that's doing that for one of the best teams in the world on debut. She fought for a place alongside of Alex Morgan. She still remained an integral part of the World Cup winning squads. I mean, she scored in the semi-final against England.
Crazy.
I mean, of course, you can list the accolades. 2 World Cups, an Olympic bronze. She scored with her PK. A couple CONCACAF Gold Cups, a bunch of the holy She Believes, which is the pinnacle of women's football. She's also a part of the infamous Never WSL, which is basically all the notable players you can think of who played in NWSL who never won it. And there are a surprising amount. You can Google it. Rose Lavelle, I will get you that NWSL. But honestly, her humility, her grace, her respect, that is what she'll be remembered for. She said in her interview with Good Morning America when she retired that she may not have been the best, but she was one of the most loved. And I can assure you, she was.
It was a very interesting week in WOSO as a whole, with so many players retiring from international football. Spitzer was the big one for me. Yeah. It's just like the amount of videos. If you search basically any highlights of WOSO throughout history, Spitzer is there. Spitzer is there scoring a dead ball. And like dead ball Spitzer was like a huge thing for Netherlands. She's an icon. Again, these players like Toletti as well, like all icons for their respective countries.
I mentioned it earlier, Jess Fishlock for me is a big one. I think Jess Fishlock was one of the first players I really fell in love with.
Yeah, and what she means to Australian fans as well, coming here.
The best season of the A-League I've ever seen.
There you go, exactly right. But yeah, Christian Press, it's hard to be initials and number in this world, in this game, because there's so many players, but elite player. Yeah. Marta this morning, the free kick.
Wow. I mean, not in NWSL.
No.
It was in CONCACAF Gold Cup, which is basically their Champions League.
But my days.
I mean, the NWSL teams are steamrolling that, but there are some great competition. There's Monterrey, who's doing really well, and some other South American teams as well. And I'm really excited for what CONCACAF can be. I think it kind of was a Mickey Mouse tournament for a while, but I think now with genuine interest.
Yeah, definitely they'll level up. And I mean, we're looking at a time where these young Americans are going to come through. I wonder if America will pull their Americans back. But what the plan is, but yeah, I mean, we don't want that. We don't want that to happen. But the reality is that that's probably the later
Yohannes
stages.
For FC.
The later stages of their career is probably the desired point when they want to move back home. But that's it for the NWSL watch. Welcome to What Would Kang Do number 7.
In our final form.
Yeah, you're probably wondering why we're dressed like this. So, I thought, what does number 7 really represent? Okay. 7 for many people, many religions, many society, civilizations around the world represents perfection, wisdom, spiritual completeness across many cultures and religions. It appears in lists like the 7 days of the week, 7 colors of the rainbow, 7 continents, 7 days that God had to create Earth and everything else. She was beautiful. The 7 chakras in Hinduism, the 7 deadly sins in Christianity, the 7 factors of enlightenment in Buddhism, all religious takes. So what we're going to do, what I thought we're going to do, every 7 episodes of What Would Kang Do, we're going to do the 7 idioms, proverbs, or verses of the Communist Manifesto. So basically this will be actual quotes of hers, do's and don'ts of Kang, what it means to be her, play for one of her teams, work for one of her companies, or any proverbial nonsense that comes from our genius minds or her genius mind and everything in between, or any of her players. If you want to join in on the Communist Manifesto as like a little add-in, obviously, like no manifesto was built with one mind and whole. It's a collective effort, and I think it's important to recognize that we have 7. We're going to do 7 every 7 because that's how religions get built. They take time. Yes. They take thought and effort. Yeah. Like buying all this stuff. Like it's important. So, Article 1 of the Communist Manifesto. And by the way, once the Communist Manifesto is built, we'll have a book and we'll make a few copies of it, and it will be our first bit of merch.
Oh, that's lovely.
The Communist Manifesto will be our first merch. I think that's the best we can do.
Chuck it on a t-shirt.
Or a t-shirt. Yeah, if you will, we'll make a few copies. We'll do a few things. So, Article 1 of the Communist Manifesto is that Kang is a movement, not a moment. Obvious, needed to be said. Who's it said by? Herself.
The first true words of Kang.
Yeah.
Right?
It's really just, it's not really about WOSO, is it? It's about her being a movement and not a moment. And that's what's exciting, is that you can look into one sentence that's so small and it reveals so much. Article 2, this is more of a developmental, like, self-motivating thing. Sure. So self-belief is the key. Believing in young me, myself, and I is all the motivation needed for football innovation. I believe that is pretty empowering as a whole. Sure. That her name can even like pronoun itself on the situation. Like I always think to myself in times of stress, what would I do with young me, myself, and I? Yeah, it is an important thing to think of every day when you're studying Communism. It's crucial to her success. Do you want to read the 3rd article?
Yeah. So we may ask ourselves, what would Kang do? But it goes beyond this. Who, why, and the hell of Kang?
Yeah, this is more proverbial. Yeah. So we needed to do a proverb every week. So we're looking at who is Kang, why is Kang, and how is Kang. So the why being obviously that she does exist throughout history. Communism existed before Michelle Kang herself. But it's how she exists now that's more impressive, because she's shaping KANG in a way that's never been done before.
Can I take the next one?
Yeah, of course. This one's all you.
I like to think that I have some input into what would KANG do, and this was mine this week.
Yeah.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I like to call the Father O.L. Leon.
Yeah, of course it is her father, yeah.
The Son is the Washington Spirit. She
Interesting.
called it her baby.
Yeah.
You might think, Washington Spirit, the
Holy Spirit.
Nope.
That's what I was thinking.
Nope, because LCL.
It's the
LCL
Holy
is
Spirit.
the Holy Spirit.
Fair enough.
It's the Kanglican Trinity, if you will.
I like it.
And you know what? At the end of the day, I think Michelle KANG, these are her founding fathers. Really.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's the 3 pillars of KANG. Like, it's important to cement your stability as a religion through religious sites, right? So obviously the Groupama Stadium is her, like, Mecca at this point. Like, she doesn't really have much else yet, but again, just wait till that new facility is built. We talked about it last week. Oh my God, we're gonna have a serious religious site on our hands when we go there. We're gonna go into our more proverbial roots again, not just our historical roots. So what comes around may come back around if built correctly with the aim of returning on investment. It's a boomerang, if you will. A boomerang is the key to any sort of success in return on investment. Her ROI is crucial, whether it's football, whether it's monetarily. KANG is all about ROI. It's beautiful. And now we're going to have a few precursors as we go through. So I think it's important that KANG, as we talked about last week, is not just football, it's economics. We're going to be doing a little bit of an eco precursor subsection 2019, because that's when she started. This is called Kangsian economics for all of you eco students out there, anyone who gets that reference. Article 6 says that government intervention is not required to stabilize the WOSO economy. No manipulating through aggregate demand is required during economic downturns, and each movement should be squandered by parties who want to create movements. We are not Keynesian, we are Kangsian. That's how we do it. And the last but not least, in any transfer, in any buying of teams, in any buying of referees, or VAR, or anything in between, buy low and Michelle high. That is the main, simplest law of Kangsian economics. So that's our 7 this week. I don't think there's anything more I can say.
I think Karl Marx would be so proud. Or should I say KANG Marx? Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before Karl Marx reveals himself again. And
should be Michelle KANG?
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
My God.
It's so
this
exciting.
Is incredible.
It's going to be great. I can't wait for Karl Marx ball. It's going to be so good. Have you ever played communist soccer before?
I like to think because I'm a communist, I play communist soccer, but no, I haven't. I know you have.
So when you score, both teams get a goal.
Oh, wow.
That's it for this week. We went through so much. We
just rattled off.
We rattled off
all
everything. No water, no nothing.
If we didn't mention a team that you at least know or support, then we've failed.
Basically. Yeah. We are on Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, flying around the grounds. We are doing everything we can on all those platforms.
Consume all the content.
Yeah, exactly. Review us, rate us 5 stars, whatever you want to do, totally up to you. But we will be making content about WOSO every single week. Every week? Every single week. Thank you everyone for listening, and have a great week.
See you next week.